Swanson.
Losing my dad early in my career made me view the game a whole lot differently. It motivated me, and I pitched being a little bit angry, I guess.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and the Sirius XM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second, the throw! In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The opener of the series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Rob Thompson and the Phillies come to town here inside Rogers Center as they get set for a 3-game series against the Blue Jays, who have won 7 home games in a row. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer tonight. Tom Young and Derek Brandeo are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Drummondville and Sherbrooke, Quebec. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Bowden Francis gets the ball for the Blue Jays tonight. He's coming off his first scoreless start of the year, blanking Texas his last time out across 5 innings. On the other side, it was going to be Zach Wheeler, but instead the tough lefty Christopher Sanchez steps in with Wheeler away due to the birth of a child. We'll see Sanchez and Francis duel in just a couple of moments. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app at sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us for tonight's edition of the Blue Jays. We're taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. We're coming off a sweep of the A's. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and cheering on our Blue Jays, keeping this chat flying all season long. Much appreciated. Now that you're here, please hit that like button. Exit out of the chat, hit that like, share this link out. Let's go find more Blue Jays fans to help grow this amazing community here on YouTube. Our plaque is finally here, and I can't wait to take this to the Sky Dome, hopefully in just a couple of weeks. We'll see if they let me in. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thank you for liking and sharing this stream out to bring more baseball fans here to TSI. You rock. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's keep it going. Let's go after a playoff spot.
Championship at Quail Hollow.
Scotty Scheffler is a PGA champion.
Next week, the best players in golf travel to Oakmont Country Club for our national championship.
That may be a U.S. Open winning shot.
U.S. Open Radio returns this Monday on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app. MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157.
The Sportsnet Radio Network.
2 on, nobody out. The pitch to Addison Barger is drilled deep right field, headed to the bullpen, and the Blue Jays take the lead. 3-run blast for Addison Barger, ambushing Sterner. It's 5-4 Toronto in the 8th.
Watching him on both sides of the ball, it's been really cool. I mean, he's confident as ever, as we've ever seen him. And he's playing really well third. I mean, it's really cool to watch it unfold. He he's talented, and credit to him, man. He's worked his tail off, really taken advantage of an opportunity that's been given to him.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider speaking about third baseman right fielder Addison Barger, who hit home runs in each of the last 3 games of the Blue Jays sweep, or mop if you'd like, of a 4-game series against the Athletics this past weekend. After thumping the A's, the Blue Jays welcome in one of the best in baseball, the National League East's Philadelphia Phillies. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. We're here at Rogers Center getting set for Game 1. And Chris, not just Barger, the Blue Jays are going to need to carry some of that offense into this series against Philadelphia if they want to keep the good times going.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what the Blue Jays were doing well in their last series against the Athletics. They're hitting pitches that they should be hitting. If a pitch is down the middle, if a slider is just spinning over the middle, you should do damage on it. Addison Barger hit home runs this past series against the Athletics on pitches that should be hit hard. The Blue Jays haven't been doing that up until this point, really. So hopefully that's a good sign that everybody's seeing the ball better, they're taking better swings, and it continues against the Phillies.
Now, you'll probably see fewer of those pitches against the Phillies than the A's. To explain why, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. We start in the AL East. The Yankees 36-22 lead the division. The Blue Jays are 31-28, 5.5 back. Rays 30-29, 6.5 back. The Red Sox 29-33, 9 back. And the Orioles 22-36, 14 back. In the National League East, the Phillies 36-23 after losing 4 straight, a game and a half back of the division leading New York Mets. Speaking of the Phillies, let's take a look at their lineup managed by Canadian Rob Thompson, who's in the lineup today, Chris.
Well, it's good to see Rob Thompson back in Toronto.
Absolutely.
Leading off is Bryson Stott. He'll be at second base tonight. Batting second is Trey Turner. He's at shortstop. Batting third is Bryce Harper. He's playing first base. DHing, and in the cleanup spot is Kyle Schwarber. Batting fifth is Alec Boehm. He's at third base. In right field, batting sixth is Nick Castellanos. Batting seventh is Max Kepler. He's in left field. Batting eighth is JT Realmuto. He's behind the plate. And in center field, batting ninth is Brandon Marsh. On the mound is lefty Christopher Sanchez. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. At first base, batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third and DHing is George Springer. In the cleanup spot behind the dish is Alejandro Kirk. Batting fifth is Addison Barger. He's in right field. At third base, batting sixth is Ernie Clement. In left field, hitting seventh is Davis Schneider. Batting eighth is Miles Straw. He's in center field tonight. And batting ninth, back in the lineup, is Andres Jimenez. He's at second base. On the mound is righty Bowden Francis.
For Bowden Francis, his 12th start of the year, 2-6 with an ERA just a hair above 5 in 55 and a third innings pitched. He's punched out 46, walked 17. It hasn't been the walks, but more just frankly the hits and the home runs at times that have troubled Francis this year, allowing 15 home runs so far in his 55 and a third.
Well, I think another important thing to look at with Bowden Francis is he's not really commanding the inside part of the plate. In his last start, he did a little bit better job of commanding that inside part of the plate, moving feet. That's very important, especially in the major leagues, to not give up those big home runs, those big hits that he's really been giving up the majority of this season. You have to throw inside, especially to this powerful Philadelphia Phillies lineup.
That lineup will start with Bryson Stott, who's digging in to the lefty box. Roof is open today at Rogers Center. Sunlight is shaded, though, by the dome as Bowden Francis on a shady mound gets into the wind. Right-hander kicks and offers, and the pitch is outside and high. Ball 1. Time of the first pitch, 7:08 Eastern. It is a beautiful night in downtown Toronto, 22 degrees, 1-0. Just outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Can see wind moving the banners in center field a little bit. It's blowing them towards the left. Francis delivers home. And the 2-0 is high and outside. 3 straight balls to begin the start.
I mean, obviously not what you want to do to the first batter of the game, fall behind 3-0. Bowden needs to pound the zone right here and not walk the leadoff hitter. His
3-0 pitch. Up and in, ball 4. 4-pitch walk issued to Bryson Stott, all on four-seam fastballs, and there's a runner on first with nobody out.
Well, I guess the good thing is on those 4 pitches, the velocity is pretty good. 93, 94 with the fastball. If I was Bowden Francis, like I've said a couple of times this year already, I'd flip in a breaking ball, try to find that release point, get out in front.
Francis, the 6'5", 220-pound righty, looks into Trey Turner, right on right pitch. Fastball in there, strike one. Blue Jays are in their powder blue jerseys today. Powder blue pants as well, with a darker blue cap and a powder blue brim. Phillies go with the road grays, red helmet. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Flipped in that breaking ball, or rather the splitter, and got Turner way out in front. 0-2.
Bryson Stott over there at first base does have 11 stolen bases this season, so you need to keep an eye on him over there.
Being held on by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy a step off of the bat. The 0-2. Low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Doesn't seem like he wants to go. Doesn't really have much of a lead. Doesn't seem like he's being aggressive over there at first base. Probably because Trey Turner's up. There's no outs in the inning.
Following Turner, Bryce Harper looming on deck. The 1-2. Swing and a fly ball deep right field. Barger working back at the warning track. Turns at the wall. It's gone. Into the bullpen for a 2-run homer. And the Phillies get it started early. Trey Turner puts them on top 2-0. No outs in the first.
Well, that was just an elevated fastball from Bowden Francis. They were trying to sneak that fastball by Trey Turner. Trey Turner with 2 strikes on him, really protecting, shortening that swing. And he does a good job of keeping that ball, or hitting that ball where it's pitched. Elevated and on the outer third of the plate, hits that ball into the bullpen in right field for a 2-0 lead.
6th home run of the season for the all-star shortstop Trey Turner. Francis tries to settle back in as the 2-time MVP Bryce Harper is up. No outs, 2-0 Phillies in the first, and the pitch is swung on and missed, strike one. It's a return to action for Harper, who has not played since May 27th. In the first inning of that game on the 27th against the Braves, he got hurt. 0-1 pitch, sprayed foul to the left, 0-2. Harper was standing in there when a 95-mile-per-hour heater from Spencer Strider caught him on the right elbow. He did not go to the injured list, but had not played since that first inning on the 27th. Now he drives the 0-2 deep to right field. Barger at the wall. It's gone again. Solo homer for Harper in his first at-bat back. And the Phillies go back-to-back to make it 3-0 in the first.
That's another 2-strike homer, 105 miles an hour out to right field again in that bullpen. It's an 0-2 pitch. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that split finger down. This time it's just hanging over the middle of the plate. Again, Bryce Harper, such a powerful hitter. He sees that hanging split finger, waits back, and drills that thing over the fence for a 3-0 Phillies lead.
It's Harper's 9th home run of the season. Second on the Phillies, but second by a lot because here's Kyle Schwarber, and he has 19 already this year. He takes high and outside, ball one. Francis winds his 1-0. Swing and a miss. So 3-0 Phillies in the top of the first. A first inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 1-1 fouled off by Schwarber. He pops it straight back into the seats behind home plate. 1-2. Well, not everything has gone so smoothly this year for the Phillies. One thing that certainly has is the play of Kyle Schwarber. He is having maybe his best year as a pro. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Francis elevates at 95 and gets Schwarber. There's one down.
Well, they probably didn't even elevate as much as they wanted to. Alejandro Kirk's target was almost above that strike zone. That one was pretty hittable. I think Kyle Schwarber was just fooled by that pitch selection more so than the location of that fastball. Nonetheless, a big out for Bowden Francis.
His first out of the game, 3-0 Phillies, and the pitch to Alec Bohm. Swing and a liner right field. Barger racing back, turns around at the wall. It's off the fence. Bohm trying for second. The throw from Barger, and Bohm will hit the brakes. Bichette picks it up, thinks about first. Bohm slides back in. It's a long single. Could have been a double if not for the good play out and right by Addison Barger.
That was a perfect play from Addison Barger out there. Obviously, he's shown that he's a very good outfielder with a very good arm. Plays that off the right field wall perfectly. Keeps Bohm at first base.
I know there was some anxiety or consternation from people about Barger leaving third base to go to right field with Andres Jimenez back, as he has today. But I wonder if people have forgotten how good he is out there in right field. I mean, he had a game this year with 3 outfield assists. Pitched out to Nick Castellanos, outfielder for the Phillies, takes at the knees, strike one.
Well, that was about a 5 or 6 hopper that he threw there, and that's probably got to second base quicker than most people throwing on the fly.
Yeah. Barger plays deep and right with the powerful Castellanos up. 1 out, runner on first. 3-0 Phillies, top of the first. 0-1. And he hit him on the back. Lost the grip there on the curveball. And some restlessness already inside Rogers Center as Castellanos being plunked makes it first and second, only 1 out. Here comes Pete Walker.
Well, here comes Pete Walker. I think he's just going to settle him down. You can see that Bowden Francis is getting to 2 strikes. He's getting ahead of these Philadelphia Phillies hitters. He's just not making a good pitch with 2 strikes or when he's ahead in the count. That tells me that he's trying to make the perfect pitch. He's trying too hard to throw that pitch in the perfect location. He doesn't look bad. Yes, he's given up 3 runs. He's hit a batter and he's given up a single, but he doesn't look bad, just not making a good pitch with 2 strikes.
I mean, that's the puzzling thing, and we talked about it a little bit off the top. The stuff for Francis does not look any different from last year, but like you mentioned earlier, the location has not been as pinpoint as it was during his big run in the second half of 2024. So 2 on with 1 out. It's Castellanos at first and Bohm at second. Left-handed hitting left fielder Max Kepler up. A look to second. The pitch from Francis. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Umpiring home plate tonight, Ramon DeJesus with Paul Clemens at first. Crew chief Adrian Johnson mans second, and at third is Quinn Walcott. Right on left, the 0-1. Bounce foul off the front foot of Kepler. And it'll roll off to the right, 0-2.
That was a dangerous pitch right there. He threw a very good split finger to start off this at-bat. And then he kind of threw a floater right there to Max Kepler. Luckily, Kepler was out in front of that thing.
Kepler can certainly do a lot of damage. A guy who in 2019 hit 36 home runs, has 3 separate years of 20 or more homers. The 0-2. Hit foul off to the left. And 5 different years of 19 or more homers for Max Kepler, a native of Berlin. Kepler leans back in an open stance left side, bat high near his left ear. The 0-2. Hit foul off to the left again.
Another pitch with mislocation in an 0-2 count. Alejandro Kirk had that target above the strike zone. And Bowden Francis just threw that 4-seamer almost middle. A very hittable pitch, especially for a guy like Max Kepler.
First year with the Phillies for Kepler. Kirk sets up away, 0-2. Hit on the ground up the middle, a base hit into center field. Coming around third base, Bohm gets the wave, he'll score. Miles Straw tosses it back into second. It's 4-0 for the Phillies with 1 out in the first.
Another 2-strike hit for the Philadelphia Phillies. I kind of sound like a broken record at this point, but with 2 strikes, especially to these powerful hitters, these very good hitters in this lineup, you have to stay out of the strike zone. Not a horrible pitch, but it's not high enough. You have to at least get that way out of the strike zone up or bounce that thing below the strike zone. And Bowden Francis really didn't either.
Francis trying to just get out of this first inning. 4 runs for the Phillies. He's thrown 23 pitches and recorded 1 out. JT Realmuto is up, the pitch. Down and away with the slider, it looked like. Ball 1.
You know what I haven't seen yet, Ben? I haven't seen a fastball inside yet. I haven't seen him move anybody's feet. It's much easier to hit if you know that pitch is going to be on the outer third or down the middle. and not inside.
1-0 pitch, line to right field, down for a base hit. Stop sign put up at third. Castellanos stops there. Up to second goes Kepler. Hits a single for Real Muto. And it's the bases loaded for the Phillies. Still only one out in the first.
Another pitch outside. And a good hitter like Real Muto, he just looks outside and he's able to go the other way, hammers that thing through the hole.
There is some stirring right now in the Blue Jays bullpen out in left field. Phillies will send their 9th batter to the plate now in the bearded left-handed hitting center fielder, Brandon Marsh.
If I'm Alejandro Kirk, I'm taking control of this inning right now, and I'm saying, hey, let's throw a couple of fastballs in, get them off that outside part of the plate.
Kirk makes the signal from his right knee, shuffles a little inside, actually outside to Marsh, and the pitch misses outside, ball 1. Real Muto on first, Kepler on second, Castellanos on third. Blue Jays have pinched the corners in, Clement at third and Guerrero at first. Middle infield plays back, trying to turn 2. 1-0. In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes.
Nowhere to put him, have to throw a strike here. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-0 now to Brandon Marsh.
Marsh, a .220 hitter with a mid-600s on base plus slugging. 5 doubles, 2 homers, and 12 RBIs. 2-0 pitch. Outside at 95, ball 3. Eric Lauer is throwing in the Blue Jays bullpen right now. Bowden Francis has already issued 28 pitches, 1 out, and it's 4-0 Phillies in the first. The 3-0. Fastball in there, strike 1.
I'm surprised Brandon Marsh wasn't swinging right there. If I'm him, I'm getting big on a 3-0 pitch. Bases loaded.
Marsh, knees bent, waves the bat above his left shoulder. The 3-1. Swing and a foul off to the left. Francis has worked it back to a full count. For Brandon Marsh, his 4th season with the Phillies, 3rd full season, was traded over at the deadline in 2022 from the Angels for Logan O'Hoppe. 3-2. Called strike 3. Froze him at the knees with a fastball. And there are 2 down.
That's a good pitch. Missed the location, but that is a very good pitch right at the bottom of that strike zone. Brandon Marsh didn't like the call. He'll go back to the dugout, look at the iPad, and realize that was a pitcher's pitch right there. Good call from home plate umpire Ramon De Jesus.
2 down after Marsh gets frozen on that fastball. Bases loaded, 4-0 Phillies in the first. The pitch to Bryson Stott. Called a strike, might have been off the outside corner, but he gets a break. It's 0-1. Lauer continues to loosen up. Although if Francis can stop it here, then potential to keep him in this ball game a little bit longer. The 0-1. Swing and a grounder, hooked foul just wide of the first base bag. 0-2.
This is a big out here. A 4-0 lead is doable. A 6-0 lead, that's pretty tough, especially against Christopher Sanchez.
And a 6-0 lead, and you probably yank your starter in the first inning. I mean, few teams, no matter who you are, winning that game. Still only 4 right now. Runner on third is Castellanos. Kepler on second. Real Muto on first. 0-2. Downstairs with the splitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's where he wanted that splitter against Bryce Harper. Instead, he threw it kind of to the bottom of the strike zone. A little bit too good of a pitch on a 0-2 count.
Righty set just above the belt. Kicks and delivers. And the pitch is lined up the middle into right center field. Coming home to score, Castellanos. Kepler right behind him. All the way around to third goes Real Muto. It's a 2-run single for Stott and a 6-0 Phillies lead. Runners on the corners, 2 outs in the top of the first.
This Phillies lineup is relentless. You fall behind, you leave a 4-seam fastball over the middle of the plate. You don't throw inside really at all. I mean, these guys just hit the ball hard, and Stott hammers that thing up the middle for 2 RBIs, 6-0 now for the Phillies.
And they have some of the younger guys going, like a Stott or a Bohm, in the middle of the Harper, Schwarber, I don't know if Turner is a younger guy or an older guy. Castellanos, Romuto. I mean, when everyone gets going a little bit, it becomes dangerous. Trey Turner is back up to the plate, batting champion at one time in his career. The pitch. Low ball one.
There's a big hole on the right side. Andres Jimenez is shaded towards second base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is holding on Stott at first. Trey Turner is very good at shooting that ball the other way.
Turner hit it the other way over the fence earlier this inning. Now the 1-0 is called a strike, 1-1.
He certainly did, Ben.
Yeah. I don't know if it counts as shooting the ball when you hit it over there.
No, that's not shooting the ball.
No. Smashing the ball the other way. I mean, a really good player. And Trey Turner, former National and Dodger. 1-1. Hit foul to the right, 1-2.
38 pitches now for Bowden Francis so far in this inning.
I'm still not sure he comes back out for another one. This is a lot of pitches in one inning. Eric Lauer continues to loosen up. The 1-2 is hit high in the air to deep center field. Going back Straw. He backpedals, makes the catch in front of the warning track, and ends the inning. The Phillies, though, score 6 on 6 hits. Home runs from Turner and Harper, and then a barrage of singles. It's 6-0 Philadelphia, middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Night mode is still the new code. And this season, we redefine the most exciting night of the week.
Alejandro Kirk has walked it off.
City Connect Fridays. It's a vibe that you have to experience live at Barger Center. We celebrate the icons, energy, strength, and culture that makes our city special. City Connect Fridays. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Breaking news come at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Bottom of the first inning, and the Blue Jays have their work cut out for them. Trailing 6-0 to the Philadelphia Phillies as left-hander Christopher Sanchez delivers to Bo Bichette and misses inside. Ball one. Tom Young, one of our technical directors, with us in the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Derek Brandeo, technical director as well. And Show Ali, our host and producer. Lefty Sanchez with a 1-0. Called a strike. Christopher Sanchez, a very exciting pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. 4-1 this year with a 3.32 ERA in 11 starts. 6'6" lefty, faces first as he brings the glove up to his chin, steps back, kicks, and offers. Outside, 2-1.
Christopher Sanchez has given up more than 3 earned runs this season just once.
And it was 4. It wasn't even that bad of a day. And it was the Dodgers.
And it's 6-0 right now.
Yeah. 2-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball off the end of the bat. Rolls to second. Picked up by Stott. He tosses to first. 1 down. Yeah, Sanchez, I mean, he is tough. Part of a very solid Phillies rotation. And still, in a sense, they're happy to see Sanchez today. Has nothing to do with him, but until yesterday, the Blue Jays and everyone else believed that Zach Wheeler would be making this start, but because of the birth of his child, that has been delayed. Sanchez deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr. This is high and outside, ball one. 6-0 Phillies, 1 out, bases empty, bottom 1. Third season in a row that Sanchez is a big part of the rotation for the Phillies. 1-0 pitch. Called a strike, 1-1. And I feel like sometimes with all the names for the Phillies in the lineup or in the rotation or bullpen, this guy kind of stays under the radar, but he has been really good for now a third season in a row. 1-1 pitch, wave and a miss by Vlad. There's the nasty changeup by the lefty. It's 1-2.
Well, there's so many big names on this roster that a guy like Christopher Sanchez would probably be, I would say he would be a star on another roster, but because he's with the Phillies, it's easy to fly under the radar.
1-2. Downstairs, 2-2. And so this year he's got a 3.32 ERA. Last year he had the exact same ERA in 31 starts and made the All-Star game. And then the year before about a 3.5 in just over half a season of starting. 2-2. Called strike 3. Borderline pitch. Might have been a hair off the inside edge. Vladdy not happy with Ramon DeJesus, but he turns and walks back to the dugout. 2 down.
What a great pitch. 96 miles an hour from Christopher Sanchez. Just in off the plate. So effective when you can locate inside like that. Vlad didn't like that call. Maybe a little bit off inside, but a really nice pitch.
2 outs and the base is empty. Here's the DH, George Springer. Left on right, the pitch. Swing and a miss. For Sanchez, it's a simple, straightforward 3-pitch mix. Sinker, changeup, slider. See more sliders to left-handed hitters, more changeups to right-handed hitters. 0-1 is in the dirt, a back foot slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I would say that's an old school mix.
Yeah.
That's like an early 2000s mix. Fastball, slider, changeup. There you go.
No
Here it
need
is.
for 6 pitches. He throws 95 on average, and he just goes right after you. The 1-1. Down and in, 2-1.
When do you think that exact pitch mix started to change? I would say like 2013-ish, maybe around there.
Pitching in general changed a lot just after 2010.
Yeah.
The 2-1. Called a strike, 2-2.
For a long time, that exact mix, which seems silly now, seems like a bullpen mix almost. That was the mix. That was it.
Some guys changed the slider out for a curve. Some guys threw a 4-seamer. 2-2. Inside, ball 3. And obviously there were exceptions, but I mean, look, if you locate, and especially if you throw as hard as Sanchez does while locating, you can get a lot done with those 3 pitches. Full count to Springer. 2 outs, base is empty. 6-0 Phillies. The pitch. Check swing. Pitch down and in. Appeal down to first. No swing, says Paul Clemens. It's a walk for Springer.
It's pretty good at-bat for George Springer. Took some tough pitches in that at-bat. Little slider there to finish him off. Was able to hold that bat back.
Just got a second look at the side view. He held it back. It was close, but he made sure he didn't break the plane. So Springer's on first. 2 outs in Alejandro Kirk up. Sanchez stares at Springer, now looks to Kirk. Kicks and offers. High and outside with the fastball. Ball 1. Sanchez is a big north to south guy. The slider is more of a vertical moving pitch than horizontal. And his last start against Atlanta did a really good job using the fastball at the top of the zone. Here's 1-0. Swing and a ground ball, hit hard on the ground, but right at the third baseman, Bohm, who picks it up, throws to second, and ends the inning. No runs for the Blue Jays, no hits, 1 left. They trail 6-0 after an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Road Dog Trucking Radio. We're more than just long hauls, wide loads, and truck stops.
We do have a decent amount of ground to cover.
What would you like to learn? Training and entrepreneurship.
Current economic issues.
Tariffs and the impact they've had.
Things internally with the supply chain.
Fuel prices, pay getting cut.
How to not retire broke.
Road Dog Trucking Radio. The business and trucking lifestyle channel.
Sirius XM 146.
And the Sirius XM app.
Let the games begin.
On Sirius XM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the Sirius XM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The Sirius XM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Phillies 6, Blue Jays nothing. Top of the second inning starts with the two-time MVP, first baseman Bryce Harper. Thick beard for Harper, eye black, although it's not streaked down his face like it used to be when he was a younger player with the Nationals. He rests the bat on his left shoulder, the pitch. Swing and a foul tip, 0-1. It's pretty crazy to think it's year 14 for Bryce Harper and his 7th with the Phillies. He's now been a Philly as many seasons as he was their division rival, the Nationals. Swing and a miss at the 0-1. It's 0-2.
That makes me feel really old, Ben.
14 years.
14 years.
I debuted young. Because you look at Bryce Harper, and he doesn't look or play like he's an older guy. Next pitch. Hit foul to the left. Out of place, still 0-2. I mean, it's year 14 for him. He's 32 years old. By no means is he at the last legs of his career. This is a guy who easily could end up playing 20 years or more in the big leagues.
Which is absurd.
Yeah. 0-2 in the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
To think that he debuted when he was 18 years old is absolutely out of this world. I don't even know how you could think about playing in the major leagues at 18 years old.
1-2 pitch. Check swing. Pitch was high. Appeal to third. No swing. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good 0-2 pitch right there. Just above the strike zone. Kind of in. Maybe on the inner third. It's a good location.
High back elbow for Harper. The left elbow pointed up. 2-2. Hit off the end of the bat. A spinner that just goes wide to the third base bag on the ground. Foul. It's 2-2.
Blue Jays got lucky there. If that ball's fair, that's a base hit.
Although if that's a base hit, Harper got lucky because he was completely fooled on that pitch. Was the curve from Francis. He's got a 4-seamer, splitter, curve, slider, occasional sinker. Righty's 2-2 again. Fastball outside by a good margin, ball 3.
And although Bowden Francis is still in this ball game, 46 pitches now, Eric Lauer is continuing to throw in that Blue Jays bullpen.
Francis cleared 30 pitches in the first inning. His 3-2 is high and outside, ball 4, and he's just had trouble locating his pitches. That's his second walk today. He's also hit a batter. And it's 6-0 Phillies with no outs in the top of the second.
And I know that you don't want to give up a big hit to Bryce Harper. He already has a home run in this ball game. But you have to throw a strike there, 3-2. And you might not trust your fastball command right now, but you have to throw a strike.
Harper on first. The pitch to Kyle Schwarber is just low with the curve, ball 1. Schwarber 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging. Of course, he struck out right as I was mentioning his career year. Batting .265 with an OPS near 1,000, 19 homers. 1-0 pitch popped up foul to the left, 1-1. It's been an incredibly impressive evolution for a guy who was probably labeled kind of a 3 true outcome slugger, strikes out a lot, home runs are mainly his value, and he has flipped that a little bit. The 1-1. Fastball on the inner half, top of the zone. Cut on and missed, 1-2.
And this is a former leadoff hitter.
Yeah, until recently. Started this year in the leadoff spot. But you go back, you look at 2022, he hits 46 home runs to lead the National League, but he bats only .218. The next year he hit 47 homers, but he batted only .197 with 215 strikeouts. 1-2. He had fouled to the left, still ball and 2 strikes.
Ben, I take that all day long.
Oh, of course you do. And that's why I think no one would have blamed him if he just kept homering and walking and striking out, if that was pretty much his game. But last year he got the batting average up to .248, still hit the homers, hit 38 of them. This year he's batting .265. 1-2 pitch. Low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know what he's on pace for, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere in Google, but it's probably about 54, 55-ish.
Yeah, in that range.
It's a lot of homers, especially when you're hitting .266.
I mean, this is game 60 for the Phillies. He's got 19 homers already. 2-2. Fouled off of the home plate ump, Ramon DeJesus. Kirk and Schwarber both turn to check on him. DeJesus is going to take the 2-piece mask off for a second. He's inspecting the front of it, and now he'll slip it back on.
Bowden Francis and Kirk have already tried to come inside twice in this at-bat. If I'm Bowden Francis, if I'm Alejandro Kirk, I'm going right back in there.
2-2 pitch. Popped up. Third base side of the infield. Ernie Clement, the third baseman, calls for it right in between the second and third base bags. He makes the catch, and there's one out.
That's a good pitch, but that's a mislocation. They were trying to go away with that fastball. It ended up being kind of on the inner third of the plate above the strike zone. It's a perfect pitch, but a mislocation.
They'll take the out any way they can get it right now. 6-0 Phillies, 1 out top of the second. Over 50 pitches already. Francis sets and deals to third baseman Alec Boehm. Hit on the ground right side and through into right field. Moving up to second, Harper, he stops there. Barger rifles it back into second base. It's a single for Boehm, his second hit in as many innings.
Well, I don't know if Boehm was trying to shoot that big hole on the right side of the infield, but it looked like that's what he was trying to do. He saw that Andres Jimenez was shaded towards second. There was a gigantic hole, and he did a perfect job. Didn't hit it all that hard, but found that big hole on the right side. I know that's your pet peeve, Ben.
When they pitch away from
the pitch away and there's a big hole.
That was only
on
marginally away. Frankly, that pitch was kind of right down the middle. The single might not have been the worst outcome from that one. First and second, 1 out. Pitch to Nick Castellanos is a front door curveball that drops in for strike 1. Harper on second, Boehm on first. 2010's 44th overall pick by the Detroit Tigers. Nick Castellanos hitting from the right side. The pitch home. Hit high and foul off to the right out of play. 0-2.
Another guy that's been around a long time.
He has. Been good for a long time as well. Castellanos broke in 2013 with the Tigers. Was on the tail end of their run with Miguel Cabrera. Has also played for the Cubs, the Reds, and now his 4th year with the Phillies. 0-2. Hit high in the air out to right field. Barger circling around it, makes the catch near the corner. Harper's going to tag, try to go for third. Here's the throw from Barger, and it bounces past Clement. Harper gets up, takes off for the plate, and he will come in to score. Bryce Harper testing the arm there of Barger, and it pays off. That'll go down as an error for Barger. Wasn't a terrible throw, but it skipped past Ernie Clement, went to the sidewall, and Harper got up to score, making it 7-0 with 2 outs in the second.
Well, I think the biggest thing in that situation is it's not Addison Barger, it's Bowden Francis that should have been backing up third base. He was kind of caught in between home plate and third base. He didn't really know where to go, but you got to be there if you're the pitcher.
John Schneider is now walking out to the hill, and that's going to be the day for Bowden Francis. 2 outs in the top of the second. A runner on second. It's 7-0 Phillies, and it's time for a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Let's go back to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. You know, we have been checking in on hockey these last 6 weeks or so, I guess. But we've been in the in-between for the last couple of days. The Stanley Cup final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers is set, although the hockey gods have decreed it does not start until Wednesday, June 4th. Thankfully, that is tomorrow night. When the puck does drop tomorrow, it'll be the first Stanley Cup rematch since 2009, when the Penguins and Red Wings played for the second straight year, the 11th time in league history that teams will meet in the Cup final to decide the league champ. If you're curious, defending champs are 7-4 in those 11 matchups, but since the league moved to a 16-team playoff format, the runner-up has actually won each of the last 2 rematches since that change, so some hope if you're an Oilers fan, certainly. Having said that, the Oilers will be without Zach Hyman in Game 1. We know this. He sustained the upper body injury in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Sportsnet's Gene Principe has said there is a remote possibility he could return to the final. Would take a likely 6 to 7 games of the final for it to even be considered. Connor McDavid had also briefly left practice a few days ago on Sunday, but he was back there. All systems go today. Connor Brown was absent from practice today with an illness. He'll be a game-time decision tomorrow. On the Panthers side of the injury report, sounds like Eetu Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, and AJ Greer have all missed practice time the last few days, but head coach Paul Maurice for the Panthers saying that at least Luostarinen and Lundell will be good to go, very likely for Game 1. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action down at the Rogers Center. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thank you very much, Joe. An early pitching change for the Blue Jays. Starter Batten Francis out of the game after 5 outs recorded, with the Phillies leading 7-0. 2 outs, runner on second, top of the second. Toronto goes to the left-hander, swingman, sometimes starter, sometimes reliever, the lefty, Eric Lauer. Lauer about to get going, but a pitch comm malfunction, so they're quickly getting him a new device. But the Blue Jays have been impressed with the contribution of Eric Lauer so far. Across 6 appearances, 2 of them starts. He's thrown 19 2/3 innings to a 2 3/4 earned run average. He's punched out just over 1 an inning while walking 7, and he's given up only 13 hits in his 19 2/3 innings.
Yeah, he's been good. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he has the command of all his pitches. He's a true starter. I mean, this is a guy that's made 114 big league starts, so he's a vet out there.
What the Blue Jays will ask for him most, I mean, it's the second, so you never know what happens, but down 7-0 in the second, they need efficient outs. They would like to not have their bullpen be blown up in Game 1 of this series. Blue Jays are coming off of an off day, so everyone's a little rested. Lauer with 2 outs, steals to Max Kepler, and the pitch is outside, ball 1. Mentioned last time he was up, Kepler from Berlin. Grew up in Germany, American mom and Polish dad. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. Went to the American John F. Kennedy School in Berlin and played both soccer, tennis, and baseball growing up. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up. Foul third base side. Clement and Kirk converging. Clement calls him off, makes the catch on the TD logo near the third base dugout to end the inning. Lauer comes in, gets a quick out, but there is a run added to the Phillies' lead after the top of the second. They get 1-on-1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. 7-0 Philadelphia, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up. Let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom. Visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Clement vacuums it up, throws to second one. Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Addison Barger leading off for the Blue Jays, 7-0. The Phillies lead right now at Rogers Center, bottom of the second inning. It's a left-on-left matchup. Starter Christopher Sanchez rocks back and delivers. Downstairs, ball one. Big cheers for Barger when he came up, but even bigger cheers for the former Blue Jay and former Philly, Jose Bautista, shown on the video board in between innings. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. Joey Bat's in town because he's about to get inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. We had Scott Crawford on the broadcast on Friday, I want to say. And induction weekend is about to get in full swing. 1-1, swing and a miss, 1-2.
Greg Hamilton was on Blair and Barker yesterday. Listen to that interview. What a great man he is.
A lot of really great people getting inducted this year. You can see the information on Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame's website. Pitch from Sanchez, cut on a miss by Barger, and he goes down swinging on the 1-2 pitch. Missed a slider there. There's one down.
That's a tough at-bat. Left on left. Guy who throws mid to upper 90s. Just flips in that slider there. Like you said earlier, it has a lot of vertical action. Really tough to square up if you're a righty, if you're a lefty. Strike three.
One out, Ernie Clement up to the plate. Sanchez kicks and deals. Called a strike, 0-1. Speaking of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, of course, Rob Thompson is in town, Canadian Baseball Hall of Famer himself. A 1 pitch. Hit in the air out to right field. Moving toward the foul line, Castellanos slows into a jog, makes the catch, 2 down. Thompson from Sebringville, although he said Stratford's okay to say as well. He actually went yesterday. The Phillies were in town because they weren't playing yesterday. He went to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame with Kevin Long, among others from the Phillies. They got to see some of the stuff in the back rooms that isn't on display right now at the Hall of Fame. 2 down, David Schneider up. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1.
Talk about a guy that's been around a long time.
Seriously.
My goodness.
If I'm not mistaken, got into the Hall of Fame before he became a manager. Longtime coach at the major league level first. 1-0. Foul back, 1-1. Thompson managing that 2022 pennant-winning Phillies team. 1-1 pitch. Called a strike. Might have just clipped the inside edge. Back to Schneider out of the way. It's 1-2. 2 outs and the base is empty. Schneider asks for time, putting his right hand back to Ramon de Jesus. 7-0 Philadelphia, bottom of the second inning. One-two pitch. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rob Thompson and the Phillies trying to get back to the bats. Here's the 2-2 from Sanchez. In the dirt, ball 3. For what it's worth, Thompson, who has come here a fair bit because under previous schedule iterations, you'd always see a 2-game set between the Blue Jays and Phillies each year. He's 3-3 all time on home soil at Rogers Center. 3-2 pitch. Schneider hits a ground ball up the middle. Sliding stop, Turner spins, throws over to first, not in time. It skipped there, and Schneider sprinting all the way, beat it out. Pretty nifty play from Turner, but good hustling from Davis Schneider, who picks up his 3rd hit of the season, 2nd in his last 2 games, more than he had in his entire first stint with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's a much-needed hit for Davis Schneider. He had a good swing in his last game. Drilled a baseball down that left field line, and right there, didn't hit it all that hard, but I'm sure he'll take it. His 3rd hit of the season.
It might have looked a little worse, too, because it stayed in the infield, but there's a good handful of shortstops that don't get to that ball. They're just not as fast as Trey Turner. Pitch to Miles Straw. Fastball right down the middle at 96, strike 1.
Well, not only did Trey Turner get to that ball, he got up and made a perfect throw to Bryce Harper at first base. He is an incredible player.
Infield playing straight up. Turner at the traditional shortstop position. 0-1. Lined out to shallow right center field and caught by the second baseman. Stott, kind of a half pop-up, half liner there to end the bottom of the 2nd. The Blue Jays do not score on 1 hit. They leave Schneider on first base. It's 7-0 Phillies after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Drywall, an essential part of many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thank you for helping us hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, Toronto Sports Insider. We are going to keep on going all the way up to 1 million and more. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today during the Blue Jays game. Thank you to everybody who has hit that subscribe button to help us get over 100,000. And thank you for hitting the subscribe button right now. If you're doing that right now. If you're not, then whatever. I guess just keep listening to the Blue Jays game and just be ungrateful that you've got an awesome place of Blue Jays fans hanging out, getting plaques and awards on YouTube, and hopefully going to take some pictures with it at the Skydome during the Yankee series coming up. Let's go, Blue Jays! Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining this awesome community. We'll see you back in the chat.
Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Real Muto hitting, then Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Real Muto, like Bryce Harper, who we talked about last inning, has moved from a division rival to becoming a Philadelphia Philly in the prominent part of his career. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 1-2. Really broke out as a Marlin, but at this point has been a Philly for many more games than he was a Marlin. Multiple-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time Silver Slugger, one of the great catchers of his generation. 1-2 pitch. Hit foul over the screen behind home plate into the seats out of play. Eric Lauer stays ahead of him 1-2.
He's been really good, at least offensively, for a long time. 270 career hitter, 173 home runs, 647 RBIs. I mean, those are gaudy numbers for a catcher.
And a really good defender, too.
Oh, yeah, really good defender.
Next pitch, hit back foul, still 1-2.
So to be a good defender and have those offensive numbers, that's why you make the big bucks.
He is in the last year of a 5-year, $115.5 million contract. It is an interesting decision coming up for the Phillies, though. Real Muto Turned 34 years old a couple months ago, and the production has slipped a little bit. This season batting .223 with a .651 OPS entering the game. The line from Lauer, another 1-2. In the dirt with the big curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
No harm in a 2-year deal.
I don't think so either. I think they want him back. The question is, what will they offer him dollars-wise, and what will other teams offer? 2-2 hit back fouls, still 2-2. Are the Phillies willing to maintain a similar AAV, a similar yearly salary right now? Are they, and is Realmuto comfortable, more importantly him, with maybe taking a little bit less money at this point? The 2-2. Outside ball 3, because they also have Kyle Schwarber up, and he's having a career year. And Ranger Suarez, one of their better starters, is going to be a free agent after the season as well. Payoff pitch. High and outside ball 4. Realmuto is on for the second time today as he flips his bat away toward the first base dugout. He's aboard with a leadoff walk.
I think one of the more important things that people don't really talk about is how good is his rapport with the pitching staff. Do you want to go out and get somebody new that has to then create a new chemistry with the pitching staff? Potentially not as good of a rapport with that pitching staff. If I'm a GM, I just stick with the same guy. If everything is good, if the pitching staff likes him, just stick with that guy.
First pitch to Brandon Marsh, up and in, ball 1. You went right where I was going to go. Good job by you. Now, there was a recent article written about Realmuto, and it was kind of ignore the stats. This is how important he is to this ball club. Lauer looks at Realmuto on first, who can run. And the 1-0. Hit on the ground to first. Backhanded Guerrero. Throws to second for 1. Bichette back to first. Not in time. Can't execute it much better than that if you're Vladdy and Bo, but good running from the speedy Marsh. It's a fielder's choice as Realmuto's retired at second, and there's a runner on first with 1 out.
Yeah, I thought that was a for sure double play. A perfect pick from Vlad. Threw a strike to Bo Bichette at second base, but then I forgot who was running. Brandon Marsh burning down that line there and just beats the throw from Bo Bichette by half a step.
So Marsh replaces Realmuto on first. In the top of the order up, it's Bryson Stott. To wrap up on Realmuto, that article...
I apologize for that, by the way.
No, do not. That's awesome. We were thinking the same thing. That article on Realmuto, I mean, the number of glowing reviews he gets from Wheeler, from Nola. First pitch to Stott, called a strike 0-1. I mean, it is clear that some of the most talented and successful pitchers in the game feel that he is very responsible for their success. A look at first by Lauer. And a step and throw over there. Bearded Marsh gets back into first base with a lunge.
Now, I guess the question you have to ask yourself, is that in itself worth $25 million or whatever that number is?
A lot of it's going to come down to what is Realmuto expecting numbers-wise and what can the Phillies offer. 0-1. Swing and a line drive, right field. Charging in, Barger. Stutter steps, makes the catch overhead with one hand. Marsh back to first there, 2 down.
And I think my answer to that question would be yes.
Just because for 25, so $250, 2 years, $50 million.
Yeah, 2 years, 50. So if his skill set is helping out the pitching staff, specifically the studs in your starting rotation, I say he's worth 2 years, 50.
You know, you could argue too. You're spending almost $50 million a year on Zach Wheeler. If you're not going to invest in that investment, then why are you spending $50 million a year? 2 outs, runner on first. Pitch to Trey Turner, outside, ball 1. The good news for Realmuto and the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski, president of baseball operations, not known to be shy. I mean, he assembled a lot of this Phillies team with big, splashy free agent signings, from Turner at the plate right now to Harper, Castellanos. 1-0 pitch. Foul back 1-1. You look back to his time in Detroit as well, Boston. I mean, Dombrowski is not afraid to spend money, and if you're an owner hiring him, you are okay with the fact that you might make some big free agent deals in the name of winning. Lauer's 1-1. Reluctant swing there from Turner. Just went around on an attempted check swing, so it's a strike. It's 1-2.
This is a really fun team to watch, though. Not only on paper,
100%.
it's a fun team to watch on the field.
Phillies leading 7-0, top of the third. Not so fun for some of the Blue Jay fans right now. Eric Lauer with a 1-2 pitch to Trey Turner. Runner takes off from first. Liner caught at first by Vladdy. Crumpled down to the left. Caught that just above the dirt. Takes extra bases away from Turner and likely a runaway from the Phillies. First scoreless inning for Blue Jays pitching. It comes in the top of the third. It's 7-0 Philadelphia, middle of the third inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike three and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app
and Radio Network.
Home half of the third inning, and a welcome back to Andres Jimenez, returning from the injured list today. Jimenez leads off the frame, left on left against Christopher Sanchez. He takes strike one. Jimenez right back into the starting spot at second base. He's hitting ninth today. Bo Bichette is on deck. Top of the order comes up next. The 0-1. Swing and a bouncing ball hit to short. Picked up Turner. Crow hop throw on to first. And there's one out. This third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Drummondville and Sherbrooke, Quebec. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 7-0 for the Philadelphia Phillies in the series opener. One out, bottom of the third. Second time through now for Sanchez. The pitch. Down and in, ball one. You had mentioned earlier, Chris, Sanchez has only once given up more than 3 runs in a start this year, which is not something you'll have to hear when his team's leading 7-0. Lefty winds in the 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. John Schneider had mentioned before the game that Sanchez had their number a little bit last year, and I mean, there's no debating that. He made 2 starts, went 7 innings in both of them, allowed 3 earned runs total across those 2 starts last year. Beating the Blue Jays both times. He misses inside. It's 2-1. There was a May 7th start in Philadelphia, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and then a September 4th start in Toronto, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. His 2-1 pitch, low ball 3.
And not only is that fastball 94 to 97 miles an hour, Christopher Sanchez is 6'6". So his release point is way down that mound. Probably seems more like 96, 97.
3-1. Swinging a high chopper, charging in at third, bump. Picks it up on the first hop and throws over to first. 2 down. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your team at Timbermart has the great advice and the products you need so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timbermart, Canada's building center. Alongside former Marlin, Pirate, and Yankee, along with Lehigh Valley Iron Pig, AAA Philadelphia, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 7-0 Phillies, 2 outs, bottom 3, and the pitch to Vlad Guerrero, called a strike, 0-1.
It was with the Phillies in big league camp that I tried to turn myself into a submarine pitcher. That was not fun.
And it really worked out.
That was not fun.
That's why we all remember it. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Not sure if that was foul tipped or just hit Real Muto in the foot. Either way, it's 0-2. How long did that last?
I was there until the last day of spring training.
And then once you went to AAA, you went overhand again?
Yeah, I said, this is ridiculous.
0-2 outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I also got traded to the Blue Jays that day.
Oh, yeah. So it didn't matter.
So the story is I get pulled into the manager's office. They send me down. And in that meeting, I said, by the way, I'm not doing this submarine nonsense anymore. Next day, I was traded.
Well, they made their feelings clear. 0-2. Vlad takes it just low. Sanchez taking a moment, looked out into right center field, but it looked like just staring out into the distance as he thinks about how he wants to get Guerrero. 2-2 count, 2 outs, base is empty. The lefty's pitch. Outside, ball 3. Guerrero with a strikeout looking in the first inning on an inside fastball. Working on a 32-game on-base streak, trying to extend it here, the 3-2. Outside, ball 4. He will extend it to a career-best 33 games as he reaches with 2 outs in the third.
Another great at-bat against a really tough pitcher, Christopher Sanchez. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. continues to take those tough pitches below the strike zone, off the plate outside, something he struggled with over the course of his career, but over the last 40 games or so, he's been very good at taking those pitches.
That's Vladdy's 38th walk of the year to 41 strikeouts. Here's George Springer, the pitch. Called a strike. Springer walks second most on the Blue Jays. He's walked 32 times this year after taking a base on balls in the first. He's the designated hitter today, or as he's been calling it recently, the offensive player. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
What do you think about that?
If he likes it. Not one of the things that keeps me up at night. I mean, it is true. It is an offensive player.
He's not wrong.
It's fairly synonymous with designated hitter. 1-1. Downstairs, 2 balls, 1 strike. Springer on the year, batting .257, OPS at .849. 12 doubles, a triple, and 8 homers. Batting with Guerrero on first, 2 down. The 2-1 from Sanchez. Down and in, ball 3. Sanchez has walked 2 and allowed an infield single. That's all that the Blue Jays have had so far against the lefty, who's working with a 7-0 advantage in the third. He kicks and offers, and the pitch is hit hard on the ground to third. Diving stop, boom. Throws from a knee to first, skips in there just in time. Blue Jays will at least think about this one. Springer was going as hard as he could down the line. It was a multi-bouncer out of the right hand of Alec Bohm. The Blue Jays looking back to the phone where DeMarlo Hale is, and it looks like Toronto will not challenge. So that will do it for the inning. Springer grounding out the Blue Jays with no runs on, no hits. They leave 1 on. It's 7-0 Phillies after 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
In April, Rory McIlroy completed the career Grand Slam.
Rory McIlroy, he's won the Masters.
Then, Scotty Scheffler won his 3rd major championship at Quail Hollow.
Scotty Scheffler is a PGA champion.
Next week, the best players in golf travel to Oakmont Country Club for our national championship.
That may be a U.S. Open winning shot.
U.S. Open Radio returns this Monday on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
On PGA Tour Radio, everyone plays golf.
Peyton Manning with us.
I topped it on the first hole, hit a golf cart, made a birdie. That's really all I'm going to remember is a birdie. I'll forget about hitting the cart.
Aaron Rodgers in the building. Aaron, how we doing, fella?
Great now. We got that hole out of the way.
How'd you do?
I flared it to the right.
Oh,
just missed the green.
God. Steph Curry with us.
I played in a Corn Ferry event. I've won the American Century in Tahoe in the summer, so I've had a blessed golf life.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Rogers Center. Blue Jays trailing the Philadelphia Phillies. 7-0 is the score as Bryce Harper leads off the top of the fourth inning. Harper, Schwarber, Bohm for the Philadelphia Phillies, who mainly are resting on their 6-run first. Eric Lauer to Bryce Harper, and the pitch is hit on the ground to first base, fielded deep on the right field turf. Guerrero spins, throws overhand to first. Lauer covering, nice play to catch and find the bag on the hard toss. One down.
That was a really tough play. Vlad pointing at that Rawlings, that gold Rawlings on his wrist. Always does that when he makes a nice play. He's pointing at a couple of different people. Makes that play look easy. Well, it's not gold, it's platinum, isn't it?
No, it's gold.
Oh, it's just gold.
It's gold. Yeah. I haven't actually inspected Andres Jimenez's glove, but he is a platinum glover. I did see who brought a platinum glove here recently. There was someone on an opposing team who brought one. I'll have to jog my memory and think of that. One out, top of the fourth. DH Kyle Schwarber's up the pitch. Fouled back, 0-1.
It's pretty special, though. We heard Ernie Clement talk about it when he was playing first base. He didn't want to wear Vlad's glove because it had the gold patch on it. He didn't want to be wearing a patch that obviously he didn't earn.
Now, Ernie was a finalist for a gold glove last year, but doesn't have one yet. 0-1. Schwarber lifts it to shallow left center field. Moving in, Davis Schneider. Same with Miles Straw. Straw waves off Schneider, but Schneider makes the catch with them colliding. That was an awkward one. Bo called for it, then at one point, Schneider called for it. Straw put his arms out wide at one moment. They're still talking Straw and Schneider, who granted have not played a lot together in the outfield. They do get the out. It's 2 down.
That's Schneider's ball. It was very clearly in the left field part of the diamond. He's calling everybody off. And then Miles Straw came out of nowhere and kind of bumped into him. Luckily for the Jays, that ball was caught.
So 2 down, bases empty, 7-0 Phillies, top of the fourth. And the pitch to Alec Bohm, down and in ball 1. Fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The wind and the 1-0 inside. Can I play devil's advocate on that fly ball for a sec?
I would love if you did, yes.
So, regardless of location of the ball, if the center fielder calls it, it is his ball. Now, should he have called it, I think is a debate. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1.
Well, I guess that wasn't my argument, but
right. Your argument is that he should have never went out.
You are correct, but
let's say
I am also correct.
Yeah, we're both right. And I don't know how late the call was made by Straw, too. That's definitely a factor. Either way, they got the out. Now the 2-1 to Bohm. Hit back foul, 2-2. Alec Bohm.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
I guess technically the center fielder can catch the ball wherever he wants.
In theory, yes. He can overrule anyone on the field.
Yes.
Should he, I guess, is the question you're asking more. 2-2 in the dirt ball 3. I do remember Rob Butler, former Blue Jay, Canadian. I don't know if he still does, but used to run a training facility for young baseball players in the Toronto area. And he had told me once that when he got called up, Devon White's playing in center field, and they said, look, You cover foul territory, but everything in fair territory, leave that to Devo. 3-2 pitch is lifted by Bohm. Foul out of play, 3-2. Now is Miles Straw, Devon White. That's up for discussion, but I guess in theory there are some center fielders who can command presence of the entire diamond.
Now that is a good rule.
Yes. Butler said it was great. I only had to look to one side. Everything else, Devo was going to run down. I didn't even have to worry about it. Payoff pitch. Lifted very high, but not very deep. Near first base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. makes the catch beside the bag, and that'll do it for the inning. A 1-2-3 for Eric Lauer sends us to the middle of the fourth. Phillies 7, Blue Jays nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking 6.5 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Bottom of the fourth, 7-0 Phillies as Alejandro Kirk leans back and takes strike one on a fastball down the middle. So Looney Dog Night at Rogers Center. We are approaching 50,000. Oh, we've passed 50,000 hot dogs consumed. It's only the fourth. 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2.
On a positive note.
I was going to say, you never want the top of the first inning that the Phillies ended up having, scoring 6, but it allows a little more time for hot dogs to be eaten, for people who got their first 4 order, because I think you can only order 4 at a time, to go back and get their second 4. 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So something interesting happened during the day today. So when we get here, there's no fans in the stadium. I believe it's an hour and a half before first pitch. The doors open, something like that.
2 hours maybe.
But the counter before anybody came in, the counter said 18.
1-2 pitch, cut and a miss, strike 3. Some staff-consumed dogs potentially. Maybe they bought some of their own.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. It's the return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All-you-can-eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. Ben, you are welcome.
Thank you. 7-0 Phillies. Bottom of the fourth, 1 out. Addison Barger up. Pitch from Christopher Sanchez. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Let's go over to Fenway Park, where the Angels beat the Red Sox yesterday on the back of a big Mike Trout performance, and they're leading again today. Angels up 3-1 on the Red Sox. 4th inning at Fenway. Sanchez winds his 0-1 to Barger. Called a strike, 0-2. If we go over to Tampa, shocker, there is a weather delay at George Steinbrenner Field. 1-0 the Rays lead over the Rangers. Bottom of the 3rd inning, it's in a delay right now. 0-2 pitch. Down and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And then at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, no score between the Yankees and the Guardians. Carlos Rodon against Tanner Bybee. Pretty good pitching matchup at Yankee Stadium. Sanchez, the former Rays international signing, kicks and offers. And Barger hits a Baltimore chop to first, hanging up. Harper takes it on 1 bounce and steps on the bag. 2 down. else do we got? Rockies are trying to win a series today on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard.
That's the one I'm watching. I'm actually interested in that game. I want to see them win a series.
It's a 2-2 game right now in the 7th. It was Chase Dollander, the big prospect for the Rockies, against Sandy Alcantara. Both of them out of the game now. Pitch to Ernie Clement with 2 outs. Down and in, ball 1. Rockies enter today 10-45. Seven 0 Phillies, 2 outs, bottom 4, the 1-0. Clement breaks his bat as he hits a soft liner to the right side. Maybe he didn't break it. He's inspecting the bat. And yeah, he did. He's going to get a new piece of lumber.
Definitely sounded like he broke it. I tell you what, that changeup from Christopher Sanchez is really, really good. Some of the ones he throws have split finger action. Makes it so hard to hit.
It was a big pitch for him when he came up. He was throwing 92 on average when he came up. Now he's averaging 95 a couple years later on the sinker, and it just makes the changeup that much better. He threw a fastball there and missed outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike now.
Is it just me or has he gotten bigger? He's gained some weight, right? Like when he first came up, he was probably 20 pounds lighter.
But he's 28 now. Filling into his own body. 2-1 pitch is bounced over the hill, racing up the middle. Turner has it, throws on the run to first a little high, but it's brought in by Harper. Snow-coned it at the edge of his glove to end the inning. A 1-2-3 for the lefty Christopher Sanchez. A strikeout and a pair of groundouts sends us to the 5th. Philadelphia 7, Toronto nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
With the NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers looming, the recently eliminated Knicks shake things up in a big way with the firing of head coach Tom Thibodeau. Reaction, analysis, and discussion ongoing on your 24/7 home for hoops, Sirius XM NBA Radio, Channel 86 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Top of the 5th inning in Toronto. 7-0 for the Phillies on the back of a 6-run first inning. And now in the 5th, Nick Castellanos leads off. The pitch from Eric Lauers, swing and a miss. Strike 1. This 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Castellanos, a multiple-time All-Star, hits from the right side, hands high near his right ear. 0-1. Swing and he lifts it, foul out of play, right side, and it's 0-2. Talked a little bit earlier about Castellanos' career. Most of it, at least the beginning portion, starting with the Detroit Tigers. And he seems to have taken a lot away, especially from the experience being around Miguel Cabrera every single day. He, along with JD Martinez, talk about the impact of Miggy on them as young players. 0-2. Poked on the ground, foul, third base side. And he does one thing that's not completely unique to Castellanos or Miggy. A handful of guys do it, but he has a literal book. Sometimes you homer off a guy, you say you got them in their book, but he has a literal book. He will record thoughts, stuff that he saw against pitchers, and go back to it throughout his season, typically starting a new book each year. 0-2. Hit on the ground, foul again. Still no balls, 2 strikes.
That's pretty cool. I thought it was just a book of guys that he's hit home runs off of. But when it's actual information that you can go back to and you can see their tendencies, that's pretty cool.
0-2 pitch. Called. Strike 3. Fastball on the inside edge. Castellanos tilts his head to the side, but that was a great pitch. There's 1 down.
You don't have to throw 95 to come inside. As long as you locate that thing, that was perfectly located right on the black on the inside part of the plate. Castellanos didn't like that call, but that is a perfect pitch.
Continues a strong outing for Eric Lauer, who's allowed 1 base runner after entering with 2 outs in the second. There's 1 out here in the 5th. His pitch to Max Kepler, swing and a miss, strike 1. Got a small update or 2 on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard we can get to in a sec. First, the former Twin Kepler faces an 0-1 and hits it high in the air, shallow right center field. Straw is moving forward. He'll make the catch. There are 2 down.
Better make it quick because Eric Lauer's dealing.
I will. The only update that I got to give you is the Yankees, the division leaders, have taken the lead over Cleveland. DJ LeMahieu, who's had a decent start coming off injury so far this year. He came up with an RBI single to score the recently reactivated Jazz Chisholm Jr. 1-0 Yankees through 5 innings in the Bronx. 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Phillies. They lead 7-0 in the 5th. And the pitch to JT Realmuto is hooked on the ground at third. Vacuumed up Clement. A step and a hop, he throws over to first and ends the inning. Eric Lauer has retired the last 8 he has faced, but the Blue Jays still trailing. 7-0 is the score, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app. SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio examines the duality of Johnny Miller's Hall of Fame career. As a player, he was one of the few to challenge Jack Nicklaus in the 70s.
Maybe the greatest iron player ever.
And as an unfiltered and fearless broadcaster.
If Ben Hogan saw that, he'd puke.
Legends of the Game.
Legends of the Game.
Listen to Legends of the Game, Johnny Miller, and browse the entire catalog of golf originals. Search PGA Tour Radio specials on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Opener, this 3-game set against the Phillies, and it is certainly going the Phillies' way right now. They're leading 7-0, bottom of the 5th inning. Score hasn't changed much since the first, but they scored 6 in the first, and Christopher Sanchez has really locked down the Blue Jays' bats ever since. 6'6" left-hander steps back onto the third base side of the rubber. Davis Schneider leads off for the Blue Jays. He has the lone hit for Toronto today. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Second game for Davis Schneider, back up from Buffalo. 1-0. Swing and a high drive. Right field. Castellanos back, looking up at the track. It is gone. Home run, Davis Schneider. His first of the year, and the Blue Jays are on the board. 7-1. The Phillies lead in the 5th.
How about that? A hanging slider from Christopher Sanchez. one of his few mistakes today. Davis Schneider hammers that thing into the bullpen in right field. How good of a feeling must that be for him?
He has waited a while for that first of the year. Davis Schneider in a tunnel of high fives. The Blue Jays had a decision to make today when they activated Andres Jimenez between Schneider and Michael Stefanik. Pitched out of Miles Straw, swing and a miss, strike one. And John Schneider said they decided to stick with Schneider because he's got a little more positional versatility. He can go infield and outfield, and the power that he can provide. He showed it right there. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays activated Tyler Heineman and Davis Schneider today while designating both Michael Stefanik and Ali Sanchez for assignment. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Schneider said the Blue Jays told both of them that they would like to keep them in the organization, but it is out of the Blue Jays' hands right now. Another team could claim them on waivers, or they could pass through and go back to AAA. 1-2 to Straw. Line foul just over the netting right side and deep into the seats in the 100 level. Still 1-2. Get some other Blue Jays health-related news in a moment. 1-2. Swing and a high drive, left center, not super deep. Brandon Marsh over into the gap. Center fielder brings it in. There's one out. Today, Nick Sandlin played for the first time in a game since he went down with that lat injury. He pitched in the Complex League, and Will Wagner played as well. Wagner had been down after fouling a ball off of his foot at AAA Buffalo. Alek Manoah set to throw live to hitters for the first time next week in a controlled environment, but still. Pitch to Andres Jimenez. Outside, ball 1. 7-1 Phillies. 1 out, bottom of the 5th, base is empty.
How important is Alek Manoah's progression becoming now for the Toronto Blue Jays? My goodness.
1-0. Outside, check swing. Appeal down to third, no swing. 2-0. Speaking of pitchers, Jimmy Garcia playing catch today on flat ground. A step forward for the right-handed reliever. Lefty Christopher Sanchez for Philly with the 2-0. Down the middle, strike one. And maybe the most notable, Max Scherzer today on the Rogers Center Diamond through live batting practice, a 37-pitch, 2-inning live BP session. 2-1. Hit foul 2-2. Mainly hitting was Blue Jays assistant hitting coach and former college teammate of Max Scherzer, Hunter Mentz, who even picked up 1 base hit off of Scherzer.
My former teammate.
There you go. And he can still do it. That was a pretty funny moment. Scherzer and Mentz coming together after Mentz came up with the hit. 2-2 is down and away. Check swing, appeal to third. No swing again, ball 3. Also, though, when Scherzer got set up to get going, Kyle Schwarber, who was there walked up to the batter's box like he was going to go hit against Max Scherzer. Got waved away. 3-2 pitch. Down and away, ball 4. Jimenez takes a 1-out walk.
Did he get waved away by Max Scherzer, or did he get waved away by everybody else?
I think it was Scherzer. Okay. I didn't see it live. I was just told about it.
I could see Max Scherzer being, hey, no, get back in here.
Yeah, if anything, Scherzer might want to face Schwarber right now. But I think the Blue Jays would not be super happy about that. Top of the Blue Jay order, Bo Bichette is up, runner on first, 1 out, and the pitch is hit on the ground, third base side. It rolls foul, 0-1. So, by the way, for Scherzer, the next step for him, he's going to go to Florida, and there's 2 different options on Sunday. Either he plays in a simulated game, so against some Blue Jays minor leaguers down there at the complex, or they'll get him into a rookie ball complex league game. One of the 2, but more concrete steps forward for the Blue Jays righty. A 1 pitch. Bichette takes inside, moving his hands up out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last one I got for you. Spencer Turnbull is going to do another outing at Buffalo. Struggled a little bit in his last one. They said mechanics being off was the reason why. 1-1. Bichette hits it on the ground, right side, through the hole, past the dive of the second baseman, Stott into right field. Jimenez up to second, Bichette on first. Blue Jays have traffic with 1 out.
Don't look now, but 1 swing, and this is a ball game. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming to the plate now with 2 on, runners on first and second, and just 1 out.
JT Realmuto is going to walk the ball out to his starter, Christopher Sanchez. Trey Turner, the shortstop, moving in to talk to them as well. So just to wrap up, Turnbull is going to do another outing in Buffalo. And then they didn't have any word on what would happen after. There is a chance that that could be the last one before he dons a Blue Jay uniform for the first time. Turnbull, a former Philly, threw a no-hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies not that long ago. So not that many injury things to check off. Oh, and Anthony Santander got a PRP injection in his shoulder. Only those 9 of them.
Anything else, Ben?
Actually, Ryan Berg got an injection as well. Now I'm done.
3 pages in that book of yours full of injuries.
Every day. Every day. 7-1 lead for the Phillies. Blue Jays homered this inning, and now they have 2 on, 1 out. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up. Sanchez offers, and Vladdy takes in low ball 1. Guerrero extended his on-base streak to 33 games with a walk in the 3rd. Not only does it extend an already career-high streak for him, it matches the longest streak that his dad ever set, 33 with the Expos in 99. 1-0. Down and in, 2 balls, no strikes. And unlike the previous plate appearance, or a lot of them this year, now they can't really pitch around Guerrero with runners on first and second.
Sanchez has really lost command of that strike zone. 79 pitches in the ball game, 36 balls, 43 strikes.
2-0. Chopper right side of the mound. Sanchez races forward, picks it up, and underhand flips over to first. Both runners advance. It's Bichette on second and Jimenez on third. Now 2 down.
It's a pretty athletic play from Sanchez. I'm wondering if that ball gets by Sanchez, does Vladimir Guerrero Jr. have a chance to beat that ball out at first base? It was a really slow, high chopper.
My instinct is yes, that he would have beat that out. Vladdy walks off the field. George Springer comes up, trying to get the Blue Jays back in this ballgame. 7-1 Phillies. Second and third, 2 outs. Single should score a pair. The pitch to Springer. Fastball down the middle at 95. Called a strike. 0-1. It is odd to see a guy pitching as well as Sanchez is, throwing barely 50% or barely over 50% strikes. 0-1. Downstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, he does have 3 walks in 4 2/3 innings. That's not great, but you're right. He's pitching really, really well, or at least the scoreboard tells you he is. And
he's only given up 3 hits, 2 of them to Davis Schneider. 1-1. Inside, Springer turns away.
And one of those was an infield single.
Yeah. Infield single. A shift beater by Bichette. He didn't hit the ground ball that hard, but hit it to the right spot. And then the home run by Davis Schneider. Sanchez offers home, and the pitch is outside. 3 balls and 1 strike now. The count to George Springer. Sanchez will do this, though. He has walked 3 or more in 4 of his last 6 starts. He's walked multiple guys in 5 of the last 6. He just doesn't give up that many hits. His 3-1. Down and in, ball 4. Springer takes a walk. Second of the inning, 4th of the game issued by Sanchez, and the bases are loaded.
And I think that's the most important thing to remember is Christopher Sanchez can do this to himself sometimes. Get some traffic, force himself to throw those high-stress pitches, but he has the ability to get himself out of those situations. He has really good stuff.
Cale Cotham, pitching coach for the Phillies, is going to go out and talk to his starter, Sanchez. Blue Jays about to bring Alejandro Kirk up to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Toronto desperate for an impactful hit. I mean, they'll take a hit of any kind, but an extra base hit that could maybe make this a 3-run game, that's when you start to dream a little bit if you're Toronto.
And Alejandro has been really good at going gap to gap, so that'll be a good approach against Christopher Sanchez. He has that high-velocity fastball. You just stay on it, you hit it where it's pitched, and the Blue Jays will have 3 runs here.
Even with the 0 for 2 so far today, Kirk hitting .298 on the season, and entering today was hitting near .360 against left-handed pitchers. Southpaw Christopher Sanchez brings his hands together at the belt. Bases loaded, 2 down. He kicks and offers. Kirk hits it foul out in front of a changeup there, 0-1.
What do you think he was trying to do with that pitch?
I think he was looking for the second grand slam of his career. He's hit one previously. I mean, that's a changeup down the middle, but he had him so far out in front, he couldn't do anything with it. A breath from Sanchez in the 0-1. Hit off the end of that, a bouncer to first. Fielded by Harper, he waves off Sanchez, goes to the bag, and ends the inning. The Blue Jays on the board on the Schneider solo shot, but they get just 1 on 2 hits. After a couple of walks, they leave the bases loaded and trail 7-1 after 5 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the
Cheers, Insiders! What a day, what a night, what a Blue Jays game. Thank you for being here. Now's the time of the show where I get to just stop and say thank you. Thank you so much for helping me create this amazing community of Toronto sports fans from all over the world. All over, I mean everywhere. It is absolutely amazing to see a group of people come together and make a difference. Our April donation is over $1,500 just in April alone. Just by being here, you're making a difference. And I just had to say thank you because we are achieving huge things. Hopefully, this summer, we're going to get up to Toronto to visit SickKids, maybe catch a TFC game and a Blue Jays game. We'll see. Maybe we'll see some of you there. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for keeping it classy. Thank you for helping grow this channel by doing all of that cool YouTube stuff, liking, sharing. If you're new, subscribing, turn on that bell. All that cool stuff really, really, really helps because then we bring in more people to make a difference. Thank you. Now let's get back to the baseball. Come on, Blue Jays. Let's go.
Top of the order for a 4th time for the Phillies. Bryson Stott will hit. He's 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, and a lineout. Third baseman Clement playing in. Las Vegas native Stott faces the first pitch and takes it for a strike, 0-1.
Eric Lauer's done really well in this ball game. 3 2/3, hasn't given up a hit, but I think his day is about to be over, at least after this batter. Paxton Schultz has been warming up for a decent amount of time down there in that bullpen.
Oh, 1 pitch called a strike, 0-2. I don't think it's at all about performance, but probably just trying to keep Lauer fresh because he'll likely factor into that open spot in the rotation when it comes up.
And Trey Turner, who's standing out on that in that on-deck circle, is a right-handed hitter. Not that that matters at this point.
But why not set up Schultz for success? 0-2. Fouled away. That one lands into the 200-level seats back behind home plate. I mean, facing Trey Turner, not exactly a good setup for success for anyone. But at least he's a righty. Left-on-left matchup now with Stott, the second baseman. Lauer winds, kicks, offers. Fastball caught him looking, strike 3. Right on the outside edge to end what's been a very good day for Eric Lauer. John Schneider out of the dugout. Makes the point to make the pitching change to Paxton Schultz. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Blue Jays trailing the Phillies 7-1, 2 out spaces empty, top of the 6th. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We were talking about the Stanley Cup Final earlier, which starts tomorrow. Let's get to the NBA Finals. We do have the matchup there as well. In the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder putting an exclamation mark on their playoff run with a beatdown of the Minnesota Timberwolves. A 124-94 win to wrap up the West in 5 games. League MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 34 points in the win. The first finals berth for the Thunder in 13 years. It'll be the Thunder against the Indiana Pacers, who handily dispatched the New York Knicks in 6 games a couple of nights ago. It was a 125-108 victory in front of a very raucous Indiana home crowd. Pascal Siakam, 31 points, was named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Tyrese Halliburton scored 11 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter. It's the first finals berth for the Pacers in 25 years and will just be the second time in franchise history that they'll play for the championship, of course, having last played in the finals in 2000 against the Lakers. Between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Benedict Mathurin, and Andrew Nembhard, we'll have 4 Canadians in the NBA Finals, which is pretty cool. NBA Finals, of course, Game 1 goes on Thursday. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action down at the Rogers Center. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Paxton Schultz, the right-hander, is just wrapping up his warm-ups before entering this ball game with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. It's the Phillies 7 and the Blue Jays 1. The right-hander Schultz putting together an impressive debut season, has made 5 appearances across 13 1/3 innings pitched, and has pitched to a 2.03 ERA. Only 3 earned runs on 10 hits and 3 walks in 13 1/3 innings pitched, while punching out 17 with his 4-pitch mix.
I think that's the most impressive thing when you look at his body of work, is just the high strikeout rate. As a manager, that's the kind of guy I want coming out of my bullpen. Paxton Schultz has been really impressive so far.
Righty from Utah, set at the belt, deep breath, and his pitch to Trey Turner. Fastball in there, strike 1. Starts him off with the cutter, which at times has been his best pitch in the big leagues. Also has the 4-seamer, breaking ball, and changeup. His 0-1. Swing and a bouncer, fielded on the backhand side at third. Clement skips it over to first just in time to get the speedy Trey Turner. Rob Thompson is putting his hand up. They want to take a look at this at least for a second, and they will ask for a challenge. Ernie Clement opted for a quicker transfer, maybe over a harder throw, and with the speed of Trey Turner, that might have cost the Blue Jays.
And I'm sure a lot of people probably wondered just that. Why did
Philadelphia's challenging the out call at first base.
Why did it look like he intentionally bounced that throw? Like you said, he opted to get it out of his glove quickly, quick release on the throw. Trey Turner very, 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 very fast down that line. I like that idea. I mean, he's obviously safe at first base. We're seeing the replay now that this call will be overturned pretty quickly.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. Philadelphia will retain their challenge.
That's got to be a record.
That's a record. That's a record.
He barely stopped from introducing the challenge to the crowd. That's wild.
But I actually like the play of choosing to have the quick release over you wait a couple of seconds to try to get something on the throw. I think he would have been safe regardless.
Turner is, by sprint speed, the 3rd fastest player in the game, 30 feet per second. Trey Turner can sprint. He's also got 16 stolen bases this year, and he's on first. 7-1 Phillies, 2 outs. Pitch to Bryce Harper, outside ball 1. The only guys faster, according to StatCast sprint speed, than Trey Turner are Bobby Witt Jr. and Byron Buxton. Turner is tied with Victor Scott II of St. Louis for 3rd. 1-0. Low, 2 balls, no strikes.
How about Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and then Kyle Schwarber? Welcome to the ballgame, Paxton Schultz.
It's brutal. It is a tough lineup to face on any given day. .2-0 pitch. Bounce to the plate, 3 balls, no strikes.
And you could see he's trying to be perfect.
And can you blame him in a way?
You can't, but when you try to be perfect, when you try to make the perfect pitch, that's what happens. You really don't make the perfect pitch almost ever.
6th Major League appearance in the career of Paxton Schultz, taking on a very difficult Philadelphia Phillies lineup. 2-time MVP Bryce Harper up. 3-0 pitch. High ball 4. Harper takes a 4-pitch walk. Turner up to second base. I mean, I guess the question is, how does that compare, Turner, Harper, Schwarber, to, let's say, you debuted in the big leagues and you faced Ryan Howard, Raul Ibanez, and Jason Worth of the Phillies in your first 3, and your name might be Chris LaRue.
I knew you had a look on your face when you were looking at your computer, and I was just like...
I mean, that's a tough 3.
Yeah.
That's a tough 3.
Different generations of awesome Phillies players.
Yeah. Pitch to Kyle Schwarber. Check swing. Pitch was elevated out of the zone. Appeal down to third. No swing, says Quinn Walcott. Ball 1.
And that was at Citizens Bank when they were going through a huge run of sellouts, when the fans were just berserk there.
That's 2009, so they're the defending world champs.
Right, and that kind of adds another layer of nerves and all that stuff. But I mean, I could see what he's going through.
1-0 pitch fouled back, 1-1. Ryan Howard, ground out to deep second base.
Why'd you have to say deep second base?
Well, that's what it says on the box score. Raul Ibanez, ground out to short, and we're going to stop there.
You know what I said to myself after that? I was like, man, the big leagues are easy.
1-1. Downstairs and inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
This is all you got for me?
Jason Worth, double to right field.
I remember that.
I mean, very good play. Former Blue Jay, Jason Worth. Schwarber up with the Phillies up 7-1. 2 outs, top of the 6th. Schultz looks back at Turner on second, and the 2-1 is hit foul toward the Philly dugout. Bounces off the front fence and rolls to Vlad Guerrero, who tosses it away. 2-2.
He's done a good job coming back against Kyle Schwarber, though. He's making some good pitches right now to a very good hitter.
I mean, he got the ground ball from Turner. He just beat it out. And then he did walk Harper on 4 pitches. But with 2 outs, Schultz, the rookie, with a 2-2. Schwarber swings and misses. Strike 3. Good changeup. Broke down and away from the bat of Kyle Schwarber, who punches out to end the inning. No runs for the Phillies on a hit. 2 left after the Harper walk. And at the middle of the 6th, it's Phillies 7, Blue Jays 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are on Sirius XM.
Behind the board, knocks down an 8-foot jumper. SGA has come to play tonight, baby.
It's MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder.
This dude is the best player in the league right now.
And Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers.
Halliburton unloads a 3. Oh, that did not happen.
It's Game 1, Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86. Hear the Pacers and Thunder announcers on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The NBA Finals are here.
Oklahoma City has hunched its ticket to its second ever league championship series.
And so is the Stanley Cup Final.
And the Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup Final for the 3rd year in a row.
Sports Grid Radio is the only place talking about the lines for each game and the odds to win it all.
I like over 5.5 games in both finals. Parlay together is plus 141.
Get the winning edge over the sports books on Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. 7-1 Phillies as Addison Barger watches a first pitch hit the outside edge for a strike from Christopher Sanchez. 0-1. Right fielder Barger, third baseman Clement, left fielder Davis Schneider hitting for the Blue Jays this inning. Sanchez kicks and offers. Barger bounces it to the third base side. This is going to be tricky. Sanchez glove, spins, throws over to first, and it pulls Harper off the bag. Think it'll go as an infield single for Barger. Sanchez had to race over toward third and make a tough play, especially for a pitcher coming off the hill. Barger races down to first base, and he's safe there with nobody out.
Yeah, I think that's a base hit. Didn't really hit it, obviously, all that well. Jammed him a little bit, but Christopher Sanchez is really good with the glove, jumping off the mound, making that play. I mean, most pitchers just let that go by them, hope that the third baseman can make the play, but Christopher Sanchez does a great job, at least giving himself a chance there.
Barger on first, and the pitch to Ernie Clement is lifted out to right field. Moving back, Castellanos camped under it, makes a one-handed catch above his head, and there's one out. So here comes Davis Schneider, 2 for 2 today and responsible for the lone Blue Jays run. He hit a solo shot over the right field wall on a hanging slider in the 5th. Got to catch up a little bit with Davis today, and he put together a very nice season so far at Buffalo, but talked about how cold it has been trying to hit in that environment at Salem Field. Pitch home, and he hits it foul off to the right. 0-1. And I say that to get us over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, where they're not at home, but they're in the similarly frigid home of the Syracuse Mets. Buffalo at Syracuse. 6-5 Buffalo is leading in the 8th inning. Some crazy stuff going on in this game. Get to it in a sec. First, Schneider steps back in. 1 out, runner on first. 7-1 Phillies, bottom 6. The 0-1 pitch. Hit foul, 0-2. So it's 6-5 Blue Jays. What if I told you, Chris, that Aurelvis Martinez had 2 home runs in the game? 2 solo shots for the Bisons. So he's got 2. And then Will Robertson has 3 home runs for the Bisons. A combined 5 between 2 guys. Pitch to Schneider, down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Will Robertson's been good, hasn't he?
He's been very good. Almost crazier, though, is that those 2 have combined for 5 homers, and the Bisons have 6 runs total. 4 solo shots and 1 2-run homer. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Schneider goes down. There are 2 outs. You can look elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Cleveland has tied it up against the Yankees. David Fry RBI single, and it's 1-1 between the Guardians and the Yankees in the 7th. And how about this, Chris? 9th inning in Miami. Marlins 2, Rockies 3. They are leading with a chance to win the series. Miles Strack comes up. The former Guardian and Astro hits it foul on the first pitch, right side out of play. 0-1.
I like that you played with me a little bit there. I thought it was still a tie ball game.
Nope. Hunter Goodman, who's actually been great for Colorado this year, the young catcher, hit his 10th home run of the year in the 8th to make it 3-2 Rocks. 0-1. Bounced up the middle, backhanded by Sanchez. He'll jog over to first, overhand flip to the bag, and end the inning. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 1 left after 6 innings. It's the Phillies 7 and the Blue Jays 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Night mode is still the new code. And this season, we redefine the most exciting night of the week.
Alejandro Kirk has walked it off.
City Connect Fridays. It's a vibe that you have to experience live at Rogers Center. We celebrate the icons, energy, strength, and culture that makes our city special. City Connect Fridays. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to a beautiful evening in downtown Toronto. Hasn't gone the Blue Jays' way on the field. They trail 7-1, but it is a great night for baseball here at Rogers Center. Still pretty warm as the sun has gone down. Paxton Schultz delivers to Alec Bohm, and it's served foul off to the right, 0-1. It's still 19 degrees right now in Toronto. Maybe a light breeze, nothing more.
And it's snowing in Syracuse.
No shit. Honestly, it might be.
It might be.
0-1 to Bohm outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alec Bohm, Nick Castellanos, Max Kepler to hit this inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-1. Hit very high and foul right side into the seats 1 and 2. All the rage coming into today about the return of Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano. Now closing games with the Philadelphia Phillies. He got a cool tribute video in the middle of the first inning. Talked with the media before the game, and after a bumpy start to his Phillies career, which he talked about with us a little bit, he has turned it around in a big way over the last month or so for the Phillies. 1-2. Swing and a liner. That's going to drop it in right field. A one-hopper into the glove of Addison Barger for a base hit. I'll admit it was a little odd to see Jordan Romano with some Phillies red on him and a Philly fanatic hat with the tongue out of the mascot on his head. But he seemed really happy to be back here. Talked about getting in yesterday. He went to his parents' house. They had a big family dinner.
Did he sleep there?
He did not specify. Probably. I don't know. Is that commonplace? I think it is. First pitch to Nick Castellanos. Hit on the ground to short. Charging in Bichette. Throws back to second 1. And it gets stuck in the hand of Jimenez on the transfer. So it'll be a fielder's choice. Safe at first base Castellanos. And there's 1 out.
I mean, tough call. You're either staying at the Ritz or you're staying at your parents' house.
Although you stay at the Ritz all the time.
Some people, I was going to say, some people would rather stay at their parents' house than stay at the Ritz. Doesn't matter how comfortable the bed is.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him tomorrow.
Okay.
Max Kepler up, right on left pitch from Paxton Schultz, called a strike. 7-1 for the Phillies. 1 out, runner on first, top of the 7th. Romano just talked about so many moments and memories here. Pitching on that mound, being with the Blue Jays teams that qualified for the playoffs 3 different times in Romano's career with Toronto. Mentioned his debut was on this mound at Rogers Center. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. And, of course, the many, many relationships and friendships that he built. A lot of those people still with the Blue Jays in the organization. Of course, he was a Blue Jay as recently as last year. 1-1. High, 2 balls, 1 strike. Maybe the most interesting thing to me, he was asked which of the Blue Jays he still catches up with the most, talks to the most. And he said he talks to a lot of the guys, but during the season, it gets busy. You don't speak with everyone. His 2-1. Outside, 3-1. 2 people he highlighted, though. Eric Swanson, who used to be the setup man to his closer, and Chris Bassett. And he talks to them, he said, almost every night, because they play competitively against each other on the PGA Tour video game, playing golf rounds back and forth. 3-1 pitch hit foul, 3-2.
Romano was my first interview as a broadcaster.
Really? How did it go?
I asked him the dumbest question of all time. I said, do we pronounce your name Romano or Romano?
On air, you asked him that.
Well, it was just with a little mic. We were taping it.
You could edit it out.
And he looked at me and he just said, you can call me whatever you want. And I was like, all right, I'll call you Jordan. How about that?
3-2 pitch. Hit foul, still a full count. I mean, he really did grow up a lot with the Blue Jays from being a starter at times in his minor league career. He was on 3 different minor league teams with John Schneider between Dunedin, Lansing, New Hampshire. Played on that great New Hampshire team alongside Vlad and Bo and Biggio and Lourdes Gurriel and John Birdie and Harold Ramirez, a team that won the Eastern League title. Was Rule 5'd away at one point and came back. 3-2. Kepler with a check swing bouncer foul to the left. You know, Schneider had mentioned today, watching him as a starter, and it never really seemed like a fit. He couldn't really pronate, turn his arm in the right direction to throw a changeup.
What was his velocity as a starter?
It wasn't 97, 98. Right. I believe it was more 93, 94. 3-2 again. Called strike 3. Hits the inside third with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Schultz freezes Kepler, and there are 2 down.
Paxton Schultz has looked pretty good. He's got that ERA. Obviously a smaller sample size, but he's got that ERA under 2 now. Just freezes Max Kepler. He's obviously thinking something else other than that 4-seam fastball right down the middle.
Better to be good in a small sample than to be bad in a small sample, and he has been very good. Faces JT Realmuto now with 2 outs and a runner on first. 7-1 Phillies, top of the 7th, and the first pitch just misses outside, ball 1. Jordan Romano stood up during the tribute video in the middle of the first inning, got a big applause from the fans. 105 saves for the Blue Jays. 1-0 pitch is low, 2-0. Back-to-back 36 save All-Star seasons. A career 2.90 ERA with the Blue Jays, despite his 2019 debut not going very well, pitching to an ERA above 7.5 that year. Schultz with a 2-0. Realmuto takes a strike, 2-1.
He's got that dog mentality, the closer mentality that I never had. You throw me into a ball game when we're down by 2, I'm lights out. If we're up by 1 in the 8th inning, if we're up by 1 in a closer situation, I'm giving up 10. Jordan Romano is not that guy.
2-1. Swing and a line drive headed to the corner, deep left field. That's a foul ball. Just found that little piece of foul territory down the left field line. Realmuto just misses out on extra bases. Castellanos was pretty much at third base. He easily would have scored. Instead, he'll walk back across the diamond to first. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic memory, I imagine, for a lot of Blue Jays fans, seeing Romano on, and he's shifting around and twitching. He looks angry.
Talking to himself.
Yeah,
always talking to himself.
He looks like he's about to lose it on someone, and then he puts all that into a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. Two again. In the dirt. Good block on the left side by Kirk. Full count.
Yeah, he was fun to watch for a long time, and I was looking at his stats today, and I was actually shocked. Not shocked in terms of I didn't think his stats were good. I just didn't know they were that good.
I think maybe the ending for him might have painted it in a way that made some people forget about his better times. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Schultz strikes out Realmuto. That makes it a scoreless top of the 7th with a pair of punch-outs. 7th inning stretch, 7-1 Phillies. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Wednesday on Sportsnet, Hockey Central kicks off the Stanley Cup Final. Then, Edmonton has waited a year for the chance to avenge last year's final with Florida.
The Oilers are headed for a rematch with the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final.
The league's best fight it out for the right to bring Stanley home.
But the biggest step is still ahead.
Is this the year for Edmonton to hoist the cup?
That's playoff hockey.
The Stanley Cup Final. Watch on Sportsnet. Stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. Strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the seventh inning in downtown Toronto, and a new pitcher on for the Phillies. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Taking over with a 7-1 Philadelphia lead is right-handed reliever Joe Ross from Berkeley, California. For Ross's 21st appearance of the season, 2-1 with a 4.5 ERA in 28 innings pitched. He's a longtime national and a 2019 World Series champion with the Washington Nationals, alongside current Blue Jay Max Scherzer and his current Phillies teammate Trey Turner. 32-year-old righty faces Andres Jimenez. The pitch. Called a strike. Ross, earlier in his career as starter, has kind of a starter's mix. Low to mid-90s four-seamer and sinker, slider change, and curve. 0-1. Swing and a liner, and caught at second by Stott, racing it down into the hole between first and second. He makes a nice play on a humpback liner, and there's one down.
This Phillies infield can really pick it, especially up the middle. You have Trey Turner at shortstop, and you have Bryson Stott at second base. Stott taking away a sure hit from Andres Jimenez.
So one out. Bottom of the seventh, top of the order back up. It's Bo Bichette who's 1 for 3. Ross with the pitch. Outside, ball 1. A first rounder by the Padres out of an Oakland high school in 2011. Joe Ross is the younger brother of a former Padres starter, among other teams, Tyson Ross, 2014 All-Star. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. Speaking of pitchers in left field, Eric Swanson is heating up for the Blue Jays. Toronto trailing 7-1, one out, bottom of the seventh. Ross rocks and delivers. Bichette with a big hack, fouls back a fastball outer third. It's 1-2. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer. Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Following the game broadcast, Blair and Barker will have Blue Jays talk. 1-2 pitch. Outside, Bichette takes 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ross with the Phillies on a 1-year, $4 million contract, deals home and strikes out Bichette on a fastball. Got him swinging, 2 down.
That's pretty good stuff. 96 miles an hour. Says it's a four-seamer, but that four-seamer had just a little bit of cut at the end, cutting away from the barrel of Bo Bichette. A really nice pitch.
Ross, mostly a starter with the Nationals, but ended up relieving later in those years and has dealt with a little adversity. Sat out of 2020, and then in 2021, ended up tearing his UCL, missed a lot of time. Pitched to Vlad Guerrero Jr., called a strike. But came back with the Brewers and has looked pretty good as a reliever with that increased velocity being a big part of it.
And he's looked good tonight. I mean, he's not young. He's 32 years old. He's still got really nice stuff.
0-1. Swinging a ground ball, backhanded at third by Bohm. Crow hop tossed to first in time to end the inning. 1-2-3 out of the bullpen for Joe Ross, and we go to the 8th inning with the Phillies leading 7-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
After another thrilling horse racing finish at the Preakness.
Oh my goodness! Journalism has won!
What's in store for the third leg of the Triple Crown?
And they're off in the Belmont Stakes.
Start your Belmont morning on Sirius XM, Saturday at 10 Eastern, with a special 4-hour edition of Down the Stretch on Channel 85. Then at 4, hear the pre-race coverage of the Belmont Stakes on Fox Sports Radio Channel 83 and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the Sirius XM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on Sirius XM.
Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we go to the 8th inning on a beautiful evening in downtown Toronto. The pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Eric Swanson into the ballgame for his second appearance of the season. Blue Jays are trailing 7-1 right now to the Philadelphia Phillies. Swanson comes on here to face 9-1-2 Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott, and Trey Turner. And there seems to be a little bit of mound issues with the landing spot. So some members of the grounds crew have come out after Ramon DeJesus and Swanson were talking about it. DeJesus even waited to watch Swanson land, and he seems to agree that they need to tend to this mound a little bit. So we're getting some sprinting from the grounds crew right now across the field. Never one to dilly-dally. The grounds crew is always ready to go, and they're going to tend to this hill.
Well, usually it's not a big deal when you're landing in a hole. That's not the important thing. It's a bigger deal when you're landing on the side of that hole. So okay. when your ankle is kind of turning when you land, that's a big deal. And I'm assuming that's what's happening right now with Eric Swanson out there.
As they tend to the mound, why don't we take a look at the Bet365 standings? With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet. You can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No finals yet in the American League East, so the standings unchanged since the start of the game. The Yankees are 36-22, leading the division. 5.5 back are the second place Blue Jays at 31-28. In third, the Rays are 30-29. They're 6.5 back. The Red Sox are 29-33, 9 back. And then the Orioles, winners of 3 in a row, are 22-36. They are 14 games back. And just for fun, we look over to the wild card standings, where the Blue Jays are the first team outside of the wild card picture, a game back of the Minnesota Twins and the Houston Astros for that final wild card spot. Only issue for the Blue Jays, they're trailing 7-1 right now, so making up that one game tonight does not feel like something that's in the cards.
And they go to Minnesota on Friday. That's going to be a big series.
It is. It's one where, we've both said it. It's a little early to be that locked in on the wild card, but there's a high chance that when we look back at the end of the year, those two teams will be very close, and you might think, hey, if one team got 2 out of 3, or if one team didn't get swept, vice versa. Now, that could have made all the difference. Tiebreakers also hugely important in a world where there's 3 wild cards and a decent chance of 2 teams tying. Mound is ready to go, so is Eric Swanson. In the set, he deals to Brandon Marsh, and the pitch is called a strike, 0-1. Swanson made his season debut a couple days ago. Go back to June 1st. Swanson threw an inning, allowed 1 run, 0-1. Swing and a pop-up, foul, third base side. Ernie Clement crosses the line just in front of the side warning track, makes the catch. And out on 2 pitches for Eric Swanson.
That's pretty solid. That's what I'm looking for when I'm watching Eric Swanson. Is he throwing strikes with the fastball, and is he getting on top of that split finger? And he did just that in that at-bat.
When I talked to him about it today, he was fairly happy with how the pitches looked overall. Obviously, he didn't want to give up a run, but he chalked that up a lot to the double steal that he took responsibility for. He said, I just was not on top of it when they stole 2 bases, and a run doesn't score without the double steal. His first pitch, splitter to stop, violent movement, but it misses low, ball 1. There also was, to start that inning, a blue pit that dropped in that maybe Springer broke back and the ball landed short of him. Perhaps that ball could have been caught. 1-0, swing and a miss, 1-1. And he said the best thing about it, though, was even though I allowed a run and it made it 4-2 for the A's at that time, he pointed to his left where Addison Barger was standing. He said, my locker mate handled that in the bottom half of the inning, and it didn't matter after all. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Now it was the finale of the series where Barger hit the dramatic go-ahead 3-run homer, and the Blue Jays ended up scoring 6 in the 8th to win 8-4.
I tell you what, even if he didn't give up that run, it still would have been a dramatic home run.
That is true. 2-1. Swing and a foul to the left. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 7-1 for the Phillies right now. Swanson working with 1 out, nobody on. Bryson Stott is 1 for 3 today. A walk, a run scored, a single, a line out, and a strikeout. The pitch. Hit foul off to the left. That fastball at 95 miles an hour. That's what you want to see from Swanson, who can complement it with a slider and splitter.
Yeah, not only 95 miles an hour, but good downward action on it. And almost on the black on the outside part of the plate. I like what I'm seeing so far.
Two. Hit foul away to the left side again and into the seats. Swanson, tough last couple of years. You look at last year, he ends up throwing in 45 games around injury and pitches to a 5.03 ERA, but he kind of rushed through spring training a little bit, dealing with injuries in 24. 2-2 has popped up. Back of Bo Bichette, the shortstop, coming in from left field. Schneider makes a 2-handed catch in shallow left. There are 2 down. For Swanson, the overall numbers weren't great, but in the first half last year, he had a 9.20 ERA in just under 15 innings. Second half, he throws just under 25 innings to a 2.55. So he clearly got it turned around. It was just kind of unfortunate for him and the Blue Jays that at that point in the season, they had gotten rid of some pieces, and the games were more about development at that point. First pitch to Trey Turner, great splitter, cut on and miss, strike 1.
I mean, it was pretty obvious what the difference was in terms of the success. He didn't really have command of the fastball early on.
0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
And I think the biggest thing for me with Eric Swanson is he was just pushing the split finger. He wasn't getting on top of it, so you didn't really see that good downward action like we just saw in that previous pitch. It was more of a floater through the zone, and that's why he was getting hit around.
2 out, space is empty. A pop out and a fly out so far. The 0-2. Turner takes it in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You have to imagine, you're rushing through spring 2024 with some injury. The horrific incident, of course, with his son, which many people have heard about. And then you try to get going into a season and you're put right into high leverage. It's a tough spot to be in. 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dealt with injuries again this spring training, but Blue Jays had a little more depth. He has a bit more of a runway as well to come back at a lower leverage slot and then work his way up into high leverage in this pen. His 2-2. high 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Minus his first appearance of the season.
Down 1. I mean, not super
that's still
low
relatively.
leverage,
That's still relatively high leverage.
but he wasn't pitching up 1 in an 8th inning like he had to early on last year. 3-2. Swing and a fly ball left field. Schneider breaking back at the warning track. Looks up at the wall. It's gone. Into the bullpen. A multi-homer game for Trey Turner. Splitter was in, but it stayed up, and Turner turned on it for his 7th of the year to make it 8-1 Phillies in the 8th.
100 miles an hour off the bat for Trey Turner. 373 feet into that bullpen in left field, but that was the floater. Like you said, it was inside, but it was just floating through the zone. Trey Turner, such a good hitter, was able to get the barrel to it and just sneak it over that wall in left field.
2 down, 8-1 Phillies over Blue Jays, top of the 8th, and the pitch to Bryce Harper called a strike, 0-1. Harper with a homer of his own and 2 walks today. 0-1. Popped up, third base side foul. Clement giving it a look. He's onto the side warning track, and he's got room to make the catch and end the inning. The Phillies get 1 on the solo shot from Turner. Turner's 2nd homer of the day makes it 8-1 Philadelphia at the middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad and mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies are leading the Blue Jays right now by a score of 8-1. Max Lazar into the game, the right-hander for the Phillies. 4th appearance of the season. He's got a 3.38 ERA, and he'll take on George Springer to lead off this bottom of the 8th. 2 walks and a ground out today for Springer. The first pitch in there with a fastball, strike 1. The mix for the righty reliever, 4-seamer curve cutter. The 4-seamer sits around 94. Cutter in the high 80s, curve in the low 80s. 0-1. In the dirt, see a little chalk flying as JT Realmuto backhanded that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Next pitch hit foul. Right side, it's going to hit the netting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lazar called up on May 19th. Is 1-2. Called strike 3. 4-seamer bottom of the zone. Springer didn't love the call. He's talking to Ramon de Jesus, but now he walks back slowly to the dugout. 1 down.
Yeah, he immediately looked back at Ramon de Jesus, the home plate umpire, and made a motion like that pitch was down. He's slowly walking back to that dugout, but that's a very good pitch at the bottom of the strike zone, 96 miles an hour.
One out in the pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Low ball one. '15th Major League appearance for Lazar, who misses low to Kirk again, 2-0. An 11th rounder by the Brewers in 2017 at a high school in Coral Springs, Florida. He was a starter mostly in the minors until the 2023 season. 2-0 pitch, misses down and in, 3-0. And actually reached minor league free agency with the Brewers, let him go, and he signed a minor league deal with the Phillies before last season. Ended up in 11 major league games with Philadelphia. His 3-0. Up and in ball for Kirk on for the first time today. Takes a 4-pitch walk.
Pretty easy walk for Alejandro Kirk. None of those pitches were really near the strike zone. Just 4 balls. And here comes Addison Barger.
Barger with a base hit today. He's homered in 3 straight games. His hit in this one was an infield single. He's 1 for 3. The pitch. Barger leans back, takes his strike on the inner half elevated. It's 0-1. Last Blue Jay to homer in 4 straight games, Teoscar Hernandez, 2021. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack. Barger was looking forward there. It's 0-2.
He knows about that record. He wants to catch Teoscar.
He read the MLB Network game notes today. He might have, honestly. There's a lot more than just behind the surface with Barger. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. This game has been the Phillies game throughout. They scored 6 before the Blue Jays batted. And they're up 8-1 now. Next pitch outside. Missed there with the curve. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No hold on Kirk at first. Harper, the first baseman, is playing deep. Maybe 10 feet off the line. 2-2. Outside, ball 3 after getting ahead of Barger, 0-2. 3 misses, not particularly close, any of them. So it's full count. 8-1 Phillies, 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Payoff pitch. Swing and a high drive. Deep right field. Castellanos in a jog, and that ball is gone. For a 4th game in a row, Addison Barger goes deep. And the Blue Jays get a little bit closer. They're trailing 8-3 with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, when he gets a hold of one, it is majestic. Didn't hit it all that far, 373 feet to right field, but it is a beautiful shot, a beautiful swing. And that's 4 games in a row.
He is on some sort of roll right now. That pitch was probably out of the zone. It was a 4-seamer elevated. And he did not miss it. His 6th home run of the season. 8-3 game. Ernie Clement is up. 1 out, base is empty. The pitch outside, ball 1. While the Phillies likely still have a lot of control on this game, they're watching innings like this closely. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. If there's a hole on a very talented Phillies roster right now, it's their bullpen. 25th in baseball in terms of bullpen ERA entering today. 4.65 earned run average as the cutter misses low. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count on Clement. The 2-1 pitch. Hit foul, 2-2. And, the bullpen was maybe a concern before, but the 80-game suspension to Jose Alvarado due to performance-enhancing drugs.
That's a big hole to fill.
I mean, that's huge. That's at worst your setup guy, and at times your closer. 2-2 is hit. Is up high. It misses. Full count.
Yeah, if anybody's wondering what that's like, it's like Jimmy Garcia going down.
Yeah, for 80
essentially,
games.
For 80 games.
3-2 pitch. Outside ball 4. Clement tosses the bat away. The Blue Jays trying to build something here in the 8th. They got a 1-out base runner after already scoring 2 in the frame.
It's a big at-bat for Nathan Lucas. Just keep that line moving. You're not trying to hit the big home run here. You're down by 5. Just take your walk, take your base hit, hand that baton off to the next guy.
Lucas into the game to hit for Davis Schneider. Blue Jays will try to get a platoon advantage with a left-handed batter coming in to face the righty pitcher. Schneider ends the day an impressive 2 for 3 with a solo home run on a day where the Blue Jays bats did not do very much against Christopher Sanchez.
Alan Roden's actually standing on deck as well.
Looks like the Blue Jays will use the lefties. There's a mound meeting right now, so it's a good time to let you know that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 8-3 ball game. 1 out, runner on first, bottom of the 8th inning. Can the Blue Jays do the impossible and start to claw their way back in a game where they've trailed 7-0 and 8-1 at different times? Lazar to Lucas. Curveball drops in, strike 1. Lucas having an impressive season in 105 at-bats, hitting .276, 4 home runs, and 20 RBIs. He has a .788 on-base plus slugging. 0-1. Hit on the ground to short. This could be 2. Turner comes up with it, steps on the back, throws to first, inning-ending double play. The Blue Jays get a pair on Barger's 4th home run in as many games, but the Phillies will take an 8-3 lead to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This summer, the smooth never stops on Yacht Rock Radio. Weekends begin with Club Yacht Rock. Sundays keep it cool with Yacht Soul Sundays.
It's an hour of smooth R&B and soul hosted by yours truly, Al Roker.
In between, smooth, soft rock from the 70s and 80s. Yacht Rock Radio, Channel 15 all summer, and at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
1 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ninth inning at Rogers Center. It's the Phillies 8 and the Blue Jays 3. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. New pitcher for the Blue Jays. A pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Rookie righty Braden Fisher kicks and deals to Kyle Schwarber, who takes a strike, 0-1. By the way, defensive change for the Blue Jays. Nathan Lucas in left after he came in to hit for Davis Schneider. 0-1. Schwarber holds up the swing, takes a strike on a pitch that looked to be a little high and a little outside, but Fisher will take it, 0-2.
You think Schwarber liked that call?
I think he told us all we needed to know.
I think he's still having a discussion with Ramon de Jesus.
He is also 0 for 4 today, 2 strikeouts on what's been a big offensive day for the Phillies. 8 runs on 10 hits. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the curveball. Schwarber was out in front, and there's one down.
That's a good pitch. Braden Fisher had a rough outing in his last outing against the A's. 1 in the third innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, but he's got really good stuff. Just continues to impress me, at least.
And I'll give him a little bit of an excuse, at least. That was an opener appearance rather than a traditional bullpen appearance. Pitch to Alec Boehm is lifted foul right side out of play, 0-1. I mean, look, should that get in your way to make you give up 5 in an inning and a third? Probably not, but for a guy who was making just his 7th appearance in the majors at that time, it was a bit of a change in routine. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I personally don't think that's an excuse. I think that's an actual speed bump that pitchers have to grapple with. Bullpen guys opening games, it really is a mental grind that you have to get through.
1-1 is hit foul, 1-2.
You have to decide, do I pitch like a starter? Do I attack guys like it's the 7th inning of a 1-run ball game? And I'm sure that all those things were going through Braden Fisher's mind, along with he's very green in this league, and he's still trying to impress.
1 out, base is empty, is 1-2. Hit on the ground softly toward third. Charging in Clement, bare hands, and he'll hold it. Puts that one in his back pocket. It's an infield hit for Alec Boehm, his 4th single of the game.
That's just tough luck for Braden Fisher. A really good pitch down in the strike zone, weak contact, and he gives up that infield single to Boehm.
So 1 on in this 9th inning. That's brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian. First pitch to Nick Castellanos. Misses down and away, ball 1. Mix for Fisher is a mid, sometimes upper 90s four-seamer, slider and curve. Tall right-hander comes pretty close to straight over the top. 1-0. Called a strike, flipped in the curveball there to make it 1-1.
And that's why he's able to throw that good 12-6 curveball, because he comes almost straight over the top. It's really tough to hit. You don't really see many 12-6 curveballs anymore.
Or guys with that arm angle. I mean, these days it feels like more and more guys drop down, get on the side of the ball a little bit. 1-1. Swinging a fly ball, right field. It's tailing toward foul territory. Barger giving it a look. It goes out of play into the seats. 1-2. Fisher told me it just always felt natural to go over the top. He said his philosophy is the way that you would throw a ball from center field if you were charging to throw home. That's your natural throwing motion. That's the way that you should throw on the mound.
Unless you want sink.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He's north-south. 1-2. Check swing on a breaking ball outside. Kirk asks for appeal to first. No swing, says Paul Clements. The first base up. It's 2-2. Runner on first, Boehm, held on by Vlad Guerrero Jr. 1 out, top of the 9th, 8-3 Phillies. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Chased the curveball down, loaded Castellanos. 2 strikeouts in the frame and 2 outs.
That's a good pitch. It's that true 12-6 break, and you can see just how uncomfortable Castellanos is with that pitch. You got the good 4-seam fastball, mid to upper 90s. Then you add in that good 12-6 breaking ball at about 84, 85 miles an hour, and that makes Braden Fisher a weapon out of that bullpen.
2 outs, he deals to Max Kepler. High ball 1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Miles Straw, Andres Jimenez, and Bo Bichette due up for the Blue Jays. Although we saw Alan Roden was waiting to hit for Straw last inning. 1-0. Low, 2 balls, no strikes. They left Straw in defensively. He is a Gold Glover out there in center. Maybe they're waiting to see who the Phillies will throw in the 9th inning to decide if they want to bring the lefty in. It looks like righty Carlos Hernandez is going to come into this game, although also righty Seth Johnson is starting to heat up. Next pitch, right down the middle to Kepler, 96 for a strike. It's 2-1.
Both righties, so it looks like Alan Roden will probably be in the ball game.
Yeah. Fisher from the stretch, the pitch. Curveball drops in, called strike 2-2. Interesting. Even talking to him a couple days ago and looking at his usage before his A's outing, far more sliders than curves, but today it's been the reverse. His 2-2. Bounced it to the plate on a curveball. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I've always loved a good 12-6 curveball. If you have the feel for it, obviously like Braden Fisher does in this outing, I think I would much rather throw a 12-6 breaker than the slider. The 12-6 curveball is just so hard to square up because it's in the zone for such a short amount of time.
Fisher stepping off before the payoff pitch. They've relinquished the hold on the base runner, Bohm, at first. He can get going on this pitch. It's full count, 2 outs. Fisher deals home. The runner takes off, and it's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. 97 elevated. Kepler drops the bat down to his feet. 3 strikeouts around an infield hit and a great top of the 9th for Braden Fisher. The Blue Jays now batting the bottom of the 9th, down 8-3, 5 to tie, 6 to win. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Francis kicks and delivers. Called strike 3, 95.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Alley with you. The Blue Jays trail the Phillies 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. They will take your calls and texts. Jeff is down at the Rogers Center. He will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You can text the guys as well. 590, name and location. The People's text line always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Again, the Jays trail the Phillies 8-3, bottom 9 at the Dome with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Very much. Right-hander Carlos Hernandez enters the game for the Philadelphia Phillies. This pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. The right-hander Hernandez from Venezuela, 6'4", 255 pounds. He's 28 years old, and he'll work with a high 90s four-seamer that sits at about 98. Also a slider, curve, and splitter. He deals to Alan Rodin, who's entered to pinch hit, and Rodin takes a strike, 0-1. Rodin in for Miles Straw. First time that he hits since being called back up to the Blue Jays. 0-1. Called a strike, 97 on the inside edge. Tough first 2 pitches to be reintroduced to the big leagues on. Great stuff from Hernandez. It's 0-2. Righty works from the first base side. He kicks and offers. And it's low, ball 1. 8-3 right now for the Phillies. Rodin leading off.
You get that 97, 98 mile-an-hour fastball in the first 2 pitches. Then you get that 92 mile-an-hour splitter. Electric stuff from Hernandez.
His 1-2. Rodin sprays it foul off to the left. Alan Rodin brought back up after a very impressive stint with the Buffalo Bisons. Played in 18 games for Buffalo, hit .361, came up with 9 extra base hits. He swings at the 1-2, and he misses on a back foot slider, and that's the first out of the bottom of the 9th.
Well, welcome back to the big leagues. That's really tough stuff. Rare that you see a guy like that in AAA. Tough slider, back foot slider to get him for strike 3.
Hernandez walks up from the back of the hill, and looks in at Andres Jimenez, left-handed hitting second baseman for the Blue Jays. 0 for 2 with a walk in his return today. Swings at the first pitch, pops it up foul, headed in our direction, a little bit out of our reach. It drops in to the 200 level seats near the front row. It's 0-1 on the foul ball. Six-run first inning has propelled the Phillies to a lead all game. 0-1 pitch hit foul, 0-2. The Phillies had 3 runs today before an out was recorded. Back-to-back homers by Turner and Harper, and sent 11 batters to the plate in the first inning. 0-2 pitch. Popped up. Third baseman Bohm going back onto the left field turf, waves his arms in the air, makes a one-handed catch. And the Phillies are an out away. There's 2 down in the 9th.
Ben, before I forget, I want to say hi to my dad. He had surgery this morning. He's holed up in the hotel, or not the hotel, the hospital. I'm assuming he's listening, so if he is, I just want to say, hopefully you're feeling better. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
We wish him well, and hope it's a speedy recovery. Here's Bo Bichette for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, bottom 9, and the pitch yanked down and away. Ball 1.
100 miles an hour from Hernandez.
Claimed by the Phillies off outright waivers on March 23rd of this year. 1-0 pitch is hit well out to left field. Hanging up, charging in, Kepler makes the catch, and that will do it. 8-3, the Phillies defeat the Blue Jays in the opener of this series, snapping the 7-game home win streak, and it all really came down to that first inning.
Yeah, it was a tough first inning for Bowden Francis. I talked about it a little bit during the ball game, but when you're up against a tough lineup like this Philadelphia Phillies lineup has, you have to throw inside. Bowden Francis really didn't throw inside at all in that first inning. Mixed it in that second inning, had a little bit more success, but you have to throw inside, and I'm sure he knows that now, but going forward, I'm sure he'll do that a little bit more.
Blue Jays fall 8-3. We're going to step aside, come back, and wrap it up for you quickly before getting you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle? Beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. The Phillies take the opener of the 3-game series over the Blue Jays. The final score, 8-3. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris Lure. We're going to get you over to Blue Jays Talk in just a second, so you can already get your calls and your texts in to get in line. But, Chris, we talked about Bowden Francis already. He had a tough day. Phillies scored 6 in the first. Francis allowing 7 runs, 6 of them earned in an inning and 2/3, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. We've covered that, so let's flip over to the other side because, look, he had the benefit of a 6-0 lead before he threw a pitch, but he still had to pitch well, and he certainly did. Christopher Sanchez, 6 innings today of 1-run ball. His only real tough mistake was the solo homer he gave up to Davis Schneider. Maybe a couple too many walks, but it didn't come back to hurt him at all.
Yeah, he was good tonight, and although he did walk too many guys, he walked 4 guys in this outing, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. he has this stuff to be able to get out of trouble like that, and I was really impressed with what I saw tonight. He's having a great season, 5-1 so far this season, a 3.15 ERA, 6'6", throws 96, 97 miles an hour. He's a stud. He's a horse. He'd be a number one in some rotations, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he is really good and proved it once again today. Blue Jays, they were behind the whole game. Early scoring from the Phillies ensured that. But if you're going to take away a positive from this game overall, take a look at the right fielder. Addison Barger comes up with a pair of hits. The first one uncharacteristic for the big, powerful Barger, an infield hit. But then in the 8th inning, he got out in front and around an elevated fastball, hit it out to right field for his 4th home run in as many games and 6th on the season. It feels like very few pitchers can stop this guy right now.
Well, he's on some kind of run, and the most impressive thing is when he gets the mistake, he hits it. I think that's the biggest thing on this run that he's on. He's not missing mistakes, whether it's an off-speed pitch. We've seen him hit change-ups out, whether it's a fastball up at the top of the strike zone like he did tonight. It's just so impressive that when he gets his pitch, when he gets a mistake from an opposing pitcher, he absolutely hammers it. And it's just fun to watch. He's a great player. We all know the defense at third and right field, but that offense right now is second to none.
Absolutely. The Blue Jays hoping that he'll maybe make it 5 with a home run in a closer game coming up tomorrow. But today, despite the 62,164 hot dogs consumed, the Blue Jays lose 8-3 to the Phillies. The Phillies, what's up?
And Davis Schneider hitting a homer. How about that?
And Davis Schneider hitting a homer. Nice day for him, too. He had a couple of hits in 3 at-bats. The Phillies win today 8-3. 8 runs on 11 hits, no errors, 8 left on base. For the Blue Jays, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 7 left on base. The win for Christopher Sanchez, the Phillies starter. He's 5-1. Bowden Francis takes the loss to go to 2-7. No save. 2-hour, 46-minute affair in front of nearly 33,000 at Rogers Center. And with the Phillies win, Philadelphia is now 37-23. The Blue Jays are 31-29. A chance for Toronto to make it up tomorrow. 7:07 Eastern is the time of the first pitch again. Jose Barrios goes for the Blue Jays. And on the other side, Mick Abel makes his 2nd career Major League start after debuting with 6 shutout innings, no walks, and 9 Ks. We will see quite the matchup tomorrow as the Blue Jays look to even up the series. Hope you can join us there and appreciate you tuning in tonight. From our technical directors, Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night and stick around after the 8-3 Blue Jays loss. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
All right, Kevin, so we went into this series against the Philadelphia Phillies, I think, looking at this as a bit of a litmus test for the Blue Jays coming off that sweep of the Oakland Athletics. Obviously, we just assumed that playing the Phillies, who are a much better team than the A's, that wasn't carved in stone that the Jays' offense would carry over. So I'm going to ask you this question, though. What we saw tonight, does it say more about where the Blue Jays are vis-a-vis the Philadelphia Phillies, or does it tell us where Bowden Francis is in terms of being able to contribute for a team or to a team that has postseason aspirations, even this early in the year?
Yeah, I think it's B. I think that, the Blue Jays have shown that they can compete offensively. Now, can they compete against a dude like Sanchez who adds and subtracts, who makes the plate bigger, right? 17 inches tonight, he made it like 19, 20 inches, right? That's why, establishing getting some called strikes into the righties just opens up the entire outer third in a little couple of inches off the plate away where, where they have to swing at those at key moments. So, yeah, I think this says more about Bowden. I've been saying this for a month. We had Caleb on today. We've had Joe Siddle on. We've had Buck Martinez on. North and South don't work for him anymore. Like, it just don't. Against good teams, you can tell tonight. And, I'm not going to go through every single at bat, but you could tell in that first inning that a veteran lineup was looking away, hunting away. Everything they got away, they swung at. Like, if they got it away, it was up, they swung at it. If it was away, it was down, they swung at it. Like that was the approach, because they don't respect Bowden throwing in. They don't have to respect it because he either don't know how or he don't want to. For me, if he's going to be a big leaguer, he better figure it out, because if he don't, just good teams like the Phillies who are going to go up and hunt those kind of things, and then his split finger and that little spinner thing that he throws, just quite frankly not good enough. So, you saw guys coming in. Lauer came in, don't throw as hard as Bowden's, carving them up because he's doing the triangle thing, Jeff. It's the fastball in, it's the fastball away, it's the fastball up, looks like a triangle, and you can do whatever you want to do with your secondary stuff because you've established all quadrants. Quadrants is in, away, and up. You do that as a left-handed pitcher or any pitcher that don't throw real hard, you got a chance of getting away with some things. That's what you saw from Lauer. So, yeah, a little bit of a long-winded answer. Bowden better figure it out, man. I know they got an issue with the fifth spot, but, boy, it sure seems to me like unless he continues or figures a way out of establishing in to righties and lefties, is he a big leaguer, Jeff?
Well, you have to ask yourself, is he a big leaguer given what the Blue Jays have in hand right now? Probably. But is he a big leaguer? Look, we were talking about it in the booth here with Ben and Chris. You look at what he did last year. Now, yeah, the Jays weren't contending last year, but he pitched well against playoff-bound teams last year.
Yeah,
and he really did. I don't think last year was a fluke. I don't think last year was a fluke at all. But I think, as you say and as other people say, the league has made an adjustment to him.
Absolutely.
And I would like to know. If it's that he can't throw in, that's one thing. If he won't throw in, and we're not talking about hitting people, but we're talking about establishing inside. Big difference between can't and won't. And that's what I think the Blue Jays have to figure out right now. If he's pitching scared because of that.
Yeah. I think you got to watch. I think you got to watch the scared thing. And here's why I say that I think you can. If you look at the first inning against Schwarber, he had a swinging strike at a splitty in. Wasn't on purpose. He wanted that away. He sort of wanted to backdoor that thing and have a little sink to it, but he missed, and it tied Schwarber up. Then he had a foul ball on a fastball in on the black, and then he elevated a hater for a swing and miss. That's 3 pitches. He struck out one of the best power hitters in the sport. He can. Like we saw it in that at bat. Like he knew he had to go in there to a dude. If he didn't go in there, was going to hit him to the moon. It's just the consistency of buying into either I want to marry to go on arm side or glove side all the time. That means away to a righty, into a left, or away to a lefty. Or I start sprinkling it up where they have to respect both sides of the plate. Or, every hitter, every pitcher, every big leaguer has to make adjustments. You either make them or you're not a big leaguer anymore. Yours truly didn't make them. I wasn't a big leaguer for very long. That's just reality of life. I don't think last year was a fluke, but I do think the league's adjusted. The sneaky hater ain't sneaky no more. The split finger ain't splitting. What do you do when those two things ain't working? You crowd people. You establish in, and then that sort of opens up everything. Watch Sanchez tonight. Prime example. I know he throws hard, but he established in first time through, which opened up that arm speed change up away to righties, that sinker away to righties. It's like the 5th inning, right? That at bat with Vladdy with 2 on and that Kirky at bat were set up from the previous at-bats. You got to set them up the right way. That's what we're talking about. You want to be a big league pitcher, you want to be a big league starter who gets the ball every 5 days, you got to adjust. You don't, you won't be there very long.
416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The text line is 590-590. The Blue Jays losing 8-3 to the Philadelphia Phillies in the first of 3 games. Phillies out-hitting the Blue Jays 11-5, sending 11 men to the plate in the first inning. and scoring 6 runs, home runs from Trey Turner. He had 2 tonight, and Bryce Harper in the first inning, and that was pretty much the ball game with Christopher Sanchez on the mound. Davis Schneider and Addison Barger with home runs for the Blue Jays. Addison Barger's home run, his 4th in as many games. So I'll ask you, the listeners, the same question I asked Kevin Barker. Is this more a reflection of Bowden Francis, or, as we said, this is a litmus test for the Blue Jays? 3 games against the Phillies, 3 games against the Twins. Do you feel that this may be a bit of an indication of a difference between the Phillies and the Blue Jays? You talked a little bit about throwing inside, or about pitching inside, establishing inside. I prefer that to throwing inside. Mm-hmm. And I think back to something Kevin Gossman said in spring training, if you remember. It was either Kevin Gossman or Chris Bassett, but they talked about how they'd had a conversation with Anthony Santander during spring training. Kevin. And Santander told him, it was Gossman, Santander told him one of the things that the Orioles hitters knew was that you weren't going to come inside to us.
No.
And
that was Barrios too, I think, was having the same conversation.
It was Barrios, I'm sorry, right.
Yeah.
Again, I want to stress, it's not a matter of throwing inside and hitting guys and hitting in the hand or anything like that, or brushing them back, but you have to make them, you have to plant the idea in their head that you're at least prepared to do it.
Yeah, you can't be predictable location. If you are to a veteran lineup's going to go up and hunt location. They ain't going to hunt pitch. They're going to hunt location. That's exactly what happened in the first inning. I mean, you can't be predictable all the time. You got to mix it up. You don't have to live in there. You just have to have them respect both sides of the plate, so you can open up different quadrants, so that allows you deeper and second time through to be able to go to things, miss with certain pitches. You're a human being. You're not perfect. Occasionally you're going to miss. You're not going to finish a split finger or a slider. You're going to miss, and because you have established allows you to sort of miss occasionally. I feel for him. I think occasionally he tried. It just didn't work out. I just think he needs to try harder, right? I think Kirky needs to sit up in there more. I think they really got to make a conscious effort to get it in there. You move their feet, you put them on their fanny, so what? Go right back in there again. If they don't, I just think you're going to see the same old thing.
Sean from Kitchener on the text line. Barger is legit. I love seeing him in the lineup, in his arm as a cannon. Quick question, do you think Francis will get sent down? He obviously needs work. I know there isn't anyone to replace him, but something has to happen here, I think. Love the show. Thanks. I mean, you made the point, Sean. There's really nobody down there. Eric Lauer is up here. Easton Lucas, he's back down. He's back down in AAA. But beyond that, Max Scherzer's baby steps.
Yeah.
Alek Manoah, again, don't expect anything from Alek Manoah until August at the very earliest. Spencer Turnbull's getting built up. I think the second he's ready to go, he's going to be up here. But until then, I think you're almost, unless you've got some sort of trade you can make, which I don't see, or there's some sort of free agent out there. You let Jose Urena go, and the Dodgers picked him up today. I think you have to stick with Bowden Francis and just kind of keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think they will for a little while. I think it's about winning. I mean, they've shown you that they're not gonna let the thing fester if they don't think they can correct it and correct it in a hurry. Because what suffers is everybody else around him. And then you're trying to figure out the fifth guy, and then the guy that you have to use in Bowden's start was supposed to start for the fifth guy. It's like you're sort of tripping all over yourself because one dude can't figure out how to throw in. You can't have that. I mean, they're trying to win games. The American League in the East stinks. You should be now. You're into June. You should be figuring things out. You should know how to make in-game adjustments. And if you don't, you won't be around much longer. And I really do think that's where they're at.
Peter from North.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. No. I just said finish. They'll figure out ways to either make him better, or they'll figure out somebody else to fill in the blanks.
Peter from East York on the text line. The Phillies are not the A's. The Jays' record against winning teams is now 11 wins and 20 losses. That is true. This team with Vladdy and Bo are 0 wins and 6 losses in their wild card playoff career against good teams. This team falls short. Look, we talked about, not only are the Phillies a good team, but the Twins at last look, are holding down a wild card spot right now. Now, it is early. It's June. But I don't think any of us would be surprised if push comes to shove in September, if the Jays are in the race, that the Minnesota Twins aren't one of the teams in there as well, fighting for that wild card spot. So yeah, this is a good test, these 6 games. The schedule gets easy again after these 6 games, or easier at least after these 6 games. But you've got the Phillies and the Twins, and those are teams you'd like to measure yourself against, and especially coming off that. And I know the A's aren't the Phillies, but coming off that weekend series, I think you had some expectations.
Well, I think you got to remember too, Sanchez would be the number 1 starter for the Blue Jays. I mean, let's not lie about it. Like he's hands down. Oh, no question.
Of course, he'd be the number 1 starter for the Orioles. He'd be the number 1 starter for there's a lot of that. But yeah, without question, Christopher Sanchez is a really good pitcher. But you missed Zach Wheeler. You missed Zach Wheeler in this series. You got Christopher Sanchez. It's not a big fall off.
Yeah, there's not. But to Texer's point, I think in the 5th inning, that Vladdy at bat, down 1, Davis Schneider hit a home run, sort of trying to gain a little momentum. You got a couple of dudes on. He chases a 2-0 sinker on the black away and a little lazy ground out. I think that's sort of, I respect the 33 game on base thing. Just for me, occasionally you'd like to see just a tick more from Vladdy. Yep. Like it's just those at bats. I'm not saying that would even mean anything, but I'm saying you're trying to gain a little momentum right there. You need your best hitter to just, occasionally stomp on one against a really good pitcher, and then you sort of see at-bats like that. I think that's sort of what the texter's saying is, it's those at-bats against good pitchers that need to be better more times than not.
Shlomo and Scarborough, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys, I got some stats here from Damon98 on Bowden Francis. ERA, there's 105 qualified starters in the league. For ERA, he's 100th. For his FIP, he's dead last. Home runs per 9, dead last. Ground ball percentage, 95th. Winning, I think it's winning probability average, -127, 99th. Hard hit percent, 94th, and F-WAR dead last. I don't understand how this happens to guys like, I guess baseball is a tough sport, I know that. But we see guys that have these highs of highs with Manoah and now Francis, and we bet on them to be parts of our rotation, like as a fan base, and we just see it all blow up. It's just, I guess this happens to other franchises too. What do you guys think? Is this a unique thing about our situation? Is this to be expected? And is this just overblown because we can't send them down to get some help because we have no depth? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Shlomo, I appreciate the call. This organization does not do a good job developing pitchers, not in their own. It does a fine job taking veteran pitchers and working with them. See Robbie Ray, pitcher of the month in the National League. Well, Robbie Ray will tell you that Pete Walker essentially saved his career.
Yeah.
So they do a good job at the major league level. They have a devil of a time at the minor league level. Now, I will say, though, I do think with Alek Manoah, I think there were some health issues there. And
no question.
That's the thing that really, unless there's, and I can't imagine the Jays would send Bowden Francis out there if there was something wrong with him. That, to me, is what separates that from Alek Manoah, is what separates Francis from Alek Manoah. But the caller's right. Think of the guys. Ricky Tiedemann, 2 years ago, was on the verge of being up here. Now he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's it. It's an issue. They do not do a great job of developing pitchers internally. They just don't.
Yeah, the players that stay in the big leagues for a long time, they adjust and always are adjusting because either whether you're a hitter or a pitcher, the other side's always adjusting to you. This is where Bowden's at. I think Bowden's got good enough stuff. I think his split finger basically is the same as it was last year. That little spinner he's got, some of the time it's good, some of the time it's bad. I think a lot of the times he's aiming that thing because his heater's been getting hammered. I just think the adjustments have been real tough for him, whether that's lanes, whether that's finish. He has brought up the mechanical issue, but man, 10 starts in, 11 starts in.
That's time for that to be put behind. If you're healthy, mechanical issues, that you got to put those behind by now.
Well, I mean, you would think you're a big leaguer, you're a starter. All the information that you're being given should be a little bit easier for you to make those adjustments a little bit quicker. But this is where he's at, man. Big leagues is tough, dude. And when you're running into teams like the Phillies who are buying into game plans, obviously the Khakis were saying this dude will never throw you something in. Never swing at it. If you see something away and it's a strike, let it eat. And that's exactly what they were doing. I mean, that's a great game plan with a veteran lineup who knows how to execute it. So basically, the ball is in his court. I think that's sort of where he's at. It ain't the stuff, really. He's a 4th or 5th starter. That's basically where he's at.
That's right.
Now it's just adjusting to what they've adjusted to you. Can you do it, and can you do it sooner than later? That's the big question.
And, Kevin, we saw signs of this in spring training as well. There were concerns about his performance in spring training, so it's not as if this just kind of materialized out of nowhere. I think it's something that's been festering a little bit. And, absolutely. You're right. He's a 4th or 5th starter in a good team, but
the problem is with the Jays, they don't have a 5th starter.
That's right.
It's like, what do you do when your 4th starter ain't been no good? You're in trouble.
That is true. 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The text line is open. It is 590-590. The Toronto Blue Jays losing 8-3 to the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. We're going to step away and come back, take a look at the Bet365 out-of-town scoreboard, and go back to the phone lines. It's Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Wednesday on Sportsnet, Hockey Central kicks off the Stanley Cup Final. Then, Edmonton has waited a year for the chance to avenge last year's final with Florida.
The Oilers are headed for a rematch with the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final.
The league's best fight it out for the right to bring Stanley home.
But the biggest step is still ahead.
Is this the year for Edmonton to hoist the cup?
That's playoff hockey.
The Stanley Cup Final. Watch on Sportsnet. Stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Night mode is still the new code. And this season, we redefine the most exciting night of the week.
Alejandro Kirk has walked it off.
City Connect Fridays. It's a vibe that you have to experience live at Rogers Center. We celebrate the icons, energy, strength, and culture that makes our city special. City Connect Fridays. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL. Free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
There's a lot of kind of under the hood stuff that's really good with him. And I know exit velocity and swing speed is a big deal in today's game. It's a bigger deal for some than it is others, but he's comfortable for one and confident, and that helps. You know, he can hit the ball as hard as not many guys can hit the ball as hard as him, put it that way. He's talented, and I think he's comfortable with how he's approaching each at bat, you know. So we've seen the tools for a couple years, and this is a pretty good run that he's on.
That is John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays, talking about Addison Barger, who has now homered Kevin in 4 consecutive games, playing in right field tonight as the Jays adjusted their lineup to account for the return of Andres Jimenez. The ball he hit, Kevin, or the pitch he hit, was elevated. And just your thoughts on the swing on that particular pitch, because it was not necessarily a cookie. It was up there.
Yeah, I think it's a fastball count. I mean, we always talk about, at least I did whenever I played, I tried to get in count leverage situations, and it was very hard to do, right? I would a lot of the times chase sort of the pitcher around the strike zone. When he first got called to the big leagues, he did the exact same thing. That's what he's not doing now. He went from 0-2 to 3-2, and people are going to ask, how do you get to a fastball that's up, that's out of the strike zone that far? Well, it's count leverage. You know, your posture is a little bit straighter than it was. His leg kick's repeatable, which is a big deal. And when you get in certain counts that you can basically, you know, educate guests, this is what's coming. And John just mentioned how much bat speed you got. That's what it's right. You know, it's just you're not overthinking it. It's just, how do I get an account where I can so positively tell my mind that this thing's coming, and if I get this thing down on time and I'm a little bit straighter up and down, I can cover north and south really good because of, you know, just the barrel awareness that I do have. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to keep him out of the lineup. Guess what you don't do? Well, you don't keep him in. You don't ever take him out of the lineup. You don't ever think about that. You just think about where you have to put him on the defensive side.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Time now to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard with Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly, Ontario only. Well, you can file this under the... Well, it was not a great night for the Blue Jays. You can file this under the... Well, at least the Red Sox had an issue night as well. The Red Sox losing 4-3 to the Angels in 10 innings. The Red Sox are now 29-34. The Yankees are 37-22. They're 15 games up. I mean, they're almost... No, I won't say it.
Do it.
They're 6.5 in front of Tampa Bay. They beat Cleveland 3-2. Baltimore and Seattle are tied at 1. They're early. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Texas Rangers 5-1. Poor Rangers, indeed.
They're sellers, man. That's what they're getting closer to being.
Well, and you know, we talked about their GM, Chris Young.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be sellers. They may be sellers earlier than a lot of other teams.
Absolutely.
So the Yankees, 37-22. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Don't look now. The Tampa Bay Rays are 7-3 in their last 10. They're 31-29. The Jays are 31-29. Boston, we mentioned, 29-34.
Ouch.
2-8 in their last 10
We believe
games.
in you, Alex.
The Baltimore Orioles are 22-36. Again, they are playing the Seattle Mariners tonight. Time to go back to the phone lines. Eric, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Yeah, how you doing tonight, guys?
Well, you know.
Yeah, well, I told you at the start that their pitching was questionable. I think they got the power to score runs, but their pitching. If I could read you some stats, because I'm a statistician.
Please do, because you know we love us some stats.
Okay, they're only 6 games out of first place, if you can believe that. I mean, the runs scored record is 248 to 253. They play pretty fair at home, but on the road they're terrible. And teams in the East, they're not bad. Teams in the Central, so-so. Oakland, they took 4 from Oakland, and Oakland's only 1-6 in the East. So, I mean, I was really surprised because Oakland was playing fairly good. Well, they were not, they were just being spoilers. Now we go into the splits. They're terrible in the daytime. Pretty respectable at night.
Oh, you don't read anything into that, though, do you? Come on, day, night. I mean, that's
yeah. Well, I do because okay. Let's go to their pitching. They're a 500 team in their pitching. They're 20 as of yesterday. They were 23 and 23, and against left-handers they were 4 and 5. So what does that tell you?
It tells me they played 9 games against left-handed pitching so far.
Yeah. Well, they're a 500 team pitching staff with 46 games. They're 23 and 23. Is that good enough to say that they've got a good pitching staff?
I mean, I don't know about that. It's good enough to compete, and the American League is not very good right now. But what's your bottom line here? What's your point here?
I think their pitching has got to be enticed. They've got to get better performances from their starters.
That's fair.
And I think they'll be all right.
That's fair, Eric. I appreciate the call. I mean, that is... Look, the starters will tell you. It's funny because I keep mentioning this. We spent all our time talking about when are they going to start hitting, when Santerre going to start hitting, when is Vladdy going to start slugging, when is everybody else going to start slugging, and all we kept hearing from their starting pitchers after games was, man, we need to be better, we need to be better. And Kevin, I kind of looked at it as, those are the starting pitchers kind of standing up, manning up, trying to take away a little bit of the pressure off their hitters, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? I'm beginning to believe that the starting pitchers know what they're talking about, that maybe they do. Maybe they do need to be a bit better. They do give up a crap ton of home runs.
Well, yeah, I mean, coming into this thing, we were saying that they didn't have a rotation that threw very hard, and the mistakes had to be on point, right? I mean, you couldn't miss down the middle. If you did, because you're not a hard throwing group, you're not going to get away with a bunch of that. What's happened? They give up a bunch of homers because they don't throw real hard. So, yeah, look, I think everybody needs to make some adjustments. I mean, I could go down the line. The starting pitcher's got a little hand in that, so it's the pen.
Speaking of the starting pitcher, this was John Schneider asked about Bowden Francis.
John, it looked like Bowden had turned a bit of a corner last outing in Texas. What was different for him today?
I haven't really kind of looked back at it. I think just kind of location. They came out aggressive. A lot of these guys can handle the ball out over. But I think it's just kind of missed location. They're kind of on his fastball. I know Harper hits the homer on the split. Looked like they were on his fastball. And you got to make some adjustments kind of when you see that. And I think kind of just came down to location, really.
With Bowden, after the home runs, as the inning continues to unravel, pitch count gets up close to 40, how much do you weigh, I don't want to take this guy out in the first inning against, one might have to?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that was his last hitter there in the first inning, and then I think from there, you always think, okay, how early in the game is it? How fatigued is the guy going to be? Score is what it is. It's 6-0, and then at that point you're trying to save your bullpen a little bit, and you're trying to get a little bit more out of him. And if he had a quick second, you can probably push him a little bit. But it's a fine line between saying, okay, we need to get a little bit of length, and we need to try to keep ourselves in the game. If it was 3-4 runs, probably a little bit different. You probably go to it a little bit earlier. But it's a fine line between kind of just conceding a game and trying to keep your club in it.
Kevin, that was John Schneider talking about the decisions he faced today, or the decision he faced today with Bowden Francis. I mean, I was not surprised they sent him out for the second inning. I think it was pretty clear. It was pretty clear what they were doing. It does throw into, I guess it throws a little bit of a kink into the plans right now. Eric Lauer, we believe, was scheduled to start that game in Minnesota. I guess you could go with the bullpen game. You do have what? You have 3 days before you go into Minnesota. 2 days? 2 days, 3 days before you go into Minnesota. So I guess you can play around with just, some games have some combination of him and Paxton Schultz. But I got to say this about Eric Lauer. If this is what I'm going to get out of Bowden Francis, I mean, I might go with Eric Lauer the next time.
Yeah, I mean, that still leaves you a starter short.
Sure does.
I mean, like you're sort of going around in circles there. I'm with you.
Well, maybe Bowden Francis becomes the guy that you move into the Eric Lauer role. I don't know. I'm just.
How would that fix him? I mean, I still don't hide.
I don't know if you're at this point. At this point, I don't know if you're talking about fixing him right now. I mean, you got to contend, you got to compete right now. And Bowden Francis, there have been times this year where you can't compete with him.
Yeah, look, again, it gets back to that when we were talking about, moving Bo around and who's hitting leadoff. It's sort of the same kind of thing. I mean, if it ain't Bowden, who? If it's Eric Lauer and somebody, who? There's like 17 different people and, 16 of them you probably don't want pitching. It's sort of somewhere in that kind of mix. And, yeah, look, I feel for him, but John's seeing the same thing that everybody else is seeing. You got to make adjustments. You got to do it on the fly, and you got to be a little bit more aggressive crowding dudes. Whether you like it or not, you got to figure it out. North and south's all fine and dandy when that thing's working, and it's trickery, and dudes are having a tough time seeing it, and the hitter will let you know whether he is or not, or whether it's one of the worst hitting teams in baseball in the Rangers. But this is the Phillies. And when you're going out there doing the same thing over and over again, and you got a bunch of dudes who've been around forever and know what you're doing and going to go up there and game plan against it, it puts a lot of pressure on everybody, especially your manager and your pitching coach. Poor little Petey over there pulling out the hair that he does have left, trying to figure out who he's going to bring in a game and who's pitching. And jeez, can't be the easiest thing for everybody. This is the big leagues, and they're on. He's on a team that's trying to win and win a lot. So sooner or later, that's going to come to a head. I mean, he might get a couple more starts, but if they look like this, they will make adjustments.
Yeah, they will. And as we mentioned, again, Spencer Turnbull is a guy on the horizon. Max Scherzer's still a ways away. It would be, again, you asked the question today on Blair and Barker. Maybe I have to revisit it about what the priority should be for them at the trade deadline. I might have to revisit my answer. Because I had starting pitching third in the list. I might have to revisit my answer.
That's it. Think about it tonight.
Well, think about it for a bit. Now, 8-3, the Philadelphia Phillies. They beat the Blue Jays in the first game of this 3-game series. The good news is they get to do it again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right here on Sportsnet 590 Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network. So, thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Drummondville and Sherbrooke, Quebec. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986 to protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game! It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet! Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off!
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather. A swing and a drive to deep left center!
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play! Oh, my!
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball is high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
The way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA!
the soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio right now on Sirius XM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and online with the Sirius XM app.
1 p.m. Cincinnati Reds face the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 847. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:15 p.m. Atlanta Braves take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Braves on Sirius 138, XM 179, and Internet 842. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 7:35 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays taking the Texas Rangers. Rays on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 866. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Feed on Internet 870. 7:40 p.m. Chicago White Sox taking the Detroit Tigers. White Sox on Sirius 162, XM 184, and Internet 846. Tigers on Internet 850. 7:45 p.m. St. Louis Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Cardinals on Sirius 161, XM 182, and Internet 865. Royals on Internet 852. 9:40 p.m. Seattle Mariners take on the Baltimore Orioles. Mariners on Sirius 160, XM 185, and Internet 864. Orioles on Internet 843. 9:45 p.m. San Francisco Giants take on the San Diego Padres. Giants on Sirius 83, XM 186, and Internet 863. Padres on Internet 862. 10:05 p.m. The A's face the Minnesota Twins. A's on Sirius 106, XM 187, and Internet 841. Twins on Internet 857. 10:10 p.m. LA Dodgers take on the New York Mets. Dodgers on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 854, Mets on Internet 858, Spanish Feed on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 871. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Tuesday, June the 3rd. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m., Miami Marlins take on the Colorado Rockies. Marlins on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 855. Rockies on Internet 849. 6:40 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the Houston Astros. Pirates on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 861. Astros on Internet 851. 6:45 p.m., Washington Nationals face the Chicago Cubs. Nationals on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 869. Cubs on Internet 845. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Cleveland Guardians. Yankees on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 859. Guardians on Internet 848. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Jays on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 868. Phillies on Internet 860. 7:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox face the LA Angels. Red Sox on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 844. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Cincinnati Reds face the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 847. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Braves on Sirius 138, XM 179, and Internet 842. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 7:35 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays taking the Texas Rangers. Rays on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 866. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Feed on Internet 870.
Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on Sirius XM 87.
One of the hottest teams in the National League Central this season so far is the St. Louis Cardinals. Before the season started, they were counted out, but now looking ahead to the trade deadline, Jim Bowden from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio predicts they'll keep their veterans and bolster their roster to continue looking like they can make a deep postseason run.
This is John Mozeliak's final year running the St. Louis Cardinals baseball operations. This is it. This is his swan song. And just talking to him in spring training, like he didn't like how this was going to end, right? Like he had money his whole tenure, and in the final offseason he had no money to spend, and he didn't really want to go down this way, right? The way they played last year. It was discouraging. So if he has a chance to go out as either a winner or a wild card berth, or have a chance to win with a week to go in his career, yeah, no, he's not selling it. But and they don't have to, right? They're building a young team. So, yeah, I don't think so. Now, that being said, understand this. If the Phillies called up and said, we'll give you a painter for Helsley, he'll say, what time do you want the press conference? Maybe even Mick Abel for Helsley. He'll say, what time do you want the press conference? So I'm not saying if he's not overwhelmed with an offer. But knowing Mo, he'd like to finish with respect to his career. You know, he's been a GM of a World Championship club. He's won a lot of divisional titles in St. Louis. He won a lot of games in St. Louis. And, you know, you're always going to remember the last year of a person's career. You don't usually remember the best years. You remember the final year. If he has a chance to win, I think he holds on to Helsley and Arenado myself.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Tuesday, June the 3rd. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m., Miami Marlins take on the Colorado Rockies. Marlins on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 855. Rockies on Internet 849. 6:40 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the Houston Astros. Pirates on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 861. Astros on Internet 851. 6:45 p.m., Washington Nationals face the Chicago Cubs. Nationals on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 869. Cubs on Internet 845. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Cleveland Guardians. Yankees on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 859. Guardians on Internet 848. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Jays on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 868. Phillies on Internet 860. 7:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox face the LA Angels. Red Sox on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 844. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Cincinnati Reds face the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 847. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Braves on Sirius 138, XM 179, and Internet 842. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 7:35 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays taking the Texas Rangers. Rays on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 866. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 7:40 p.m., Chicago White Sox take on the Detroit Tigers. White Sox on Sirius 162, XM 184, and Internet 846. Tigers on Internet 850. 7:45 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Cardinals on Sirius 161, XM 182, and Internet 865. Royals on Internet 852. 9:40 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Baltimore Orioles. Mariners on Sirius 160, XM 185, and Internet 864. Orioles on Internet 843. 9:45 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the San Diego Padres. Giants on Sirius 83, XM 186, and Internet 863. Padres on Internet 862. 10:05 p.m., the A's face the Minnesota Twins. A's on Sirius 106, XM 187, and Internet 841. Twins on Internet 857. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers take on the New York Mets. Dodgers on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 854. Mets on Internet 858. Spanish feed on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 871. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Tuesday, June the 3rd.